Hello everybody and welcome back to another Menhera Monday. I'm your host, Exhibit A, wishing you a very happy Menhera Monday. Hello Tedia, hello Zana, hello Salad, hello Spider, hello Belle, hello Helena, hello everybody. I did say everyone, right? Because I always second guess myself, I don't want to forget. Thank you all for being here on this wondrous Menhera Monday. And Salad, it is so good that you've been able to make it to another stream finally. Because you've been having a bit of trouble with that. Because you have, real life responsibilities. Why not just be, like, unemployed? Like, you could just, like, I don't know, like, live on, like, do you really need, like, a nice house? Like, I think a cardboard box is pretty nice, too. I mean, it's not ideal, but, you know, you can make do. You know, and like food, I don't know. You know, but anyway, it's good you're back. Alright, so this week's, I've got a bit of a problem today that just happened today. Sound only comes through one of my headphones now, which is quite annoying, so I'm going to be ordering a new headset pretty soon. Bro, Salad, did you just use the J word? Ugh. Oh my god. Yeah, you gotta be careful. People, you know, people from this generation, that you might trigger their trauma, you know? You don't want people to start, you know, to get triggered. They might start thinking about having to do responsibilities and stuff, you know? That would be really bad. But yeah, I'm gonna get a new headset. I've been using this one ever since like high school. So that's quite a few years now, quite a few years back. But I'm finally gonna have to move on. Open up donations. I will send $1. Would you actually? I feel like someday I could open like a throne where like people can work towards like buying you stuff. That could be cool. Gotta leave for work in an hour? Damn, okay. What's high school? It's that thing from anime where, like, the main characters are, and they, like, have to study and do stuff, and sometimes, like, fight secret monsters in other worlds. But only after school, not during school. But they made that in real life as well, because they just thought that anime was so cool, and they were like, yo, we gotta make these in real life as well, so now we've got high schools. And I'm pretty sure Japan was the first to do it, because they wanted to make it based on anime, and then America was also like, whoa, we should do that too, because this is like really cool. And then America made schools, and now we have schools, and then aliens sometimes come to invade the schools. You know, so like in America it's the aliens, in Japan it's like, I don't know, freaking Godzilla, you know? Anyway, I'm sure you all know this already, though. This is pretty basic history. Is the thing actually it's called Throne? Yes, yes, yeah. I mean, that's what I was talking about. I'm aware of that. Maybe I should get that. You could always post your Amazon wish list. Damn. I mean, serious question, like, how many of you would, like, donate if I did, like, end up opening that up again? Or, like, how many of you would, like, contribute money towards anything that I put up? Because I am curious, because, like, I only want to do it if there'd be a lot of people doing it. Because, like, I feel like there's no point in starting it unless it's, like, something a lot of people are interested in. But also, I can't do monetization yet on my YouTube channel, so you can't donate like that, but I can do things like Throne, and I used to have Ko-Fi, but I sort of shut that down for, like, reasons. But I could always put it up again, and I will at some point. It's very easy to set up. Alright, cool. Yes, you can actually get an actually nice chair. That would be good. That would be very good. That'd be extremely epic. I send $1. I mean, that's... I'd appreciate any amount that people give, so... Don't it be better for people to donate towards things instead of paying full price? Yeah. I'll send you half a paper clip. Well, every little bit counts, you know? Spider Guy will pay me to draw 2B Fuda, and I'll send that money to you. Damn. This is a good idea. Yeah, I might reopen Ko-Fi. There's some reasons why Throne might be better for me that are, let's say, tax related, but I can't really go into it. So I might go for that first, but we'll see. Okay, so I haven't opened up the damn thing yet, and we should get some new music as always. I think it'd be better if I actually have like a file on my computer where it has a bunch of songs in it instead of me having to get it off YouTube every time. Okay, let's see how loud's this. Okay, I don't think that's too loud. I think that sounds fine. That's probably good volume. Maybe a little bit on the quieter side, but that's like okay, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Throne is a little quiet. I'll turn it up a little bit. Okay, I won't turn it up further than that, but if it's too loud, I will turn it down. Is it too loud? Because I remember once I made it too loud, and then I looked back on the stream and I was like, bro, what the fuck? So I definitely want to know if it's too loud, because that's gonna drown out my voice and be annoying. It's better? Okay. I'm gonna trust that this is good. Okay, so we are finally ready to read out the answers. I came up with a rather interesting question this time, I would believe, in my opinion. And we have 8 responses right now. Alright. So, let's read out the first one. You guys ready? Spent 200 euros for a figure today, and will again next month. And there are gonna be giant border fees, so sorry, I'm broke. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I'm not saying anyone has to send me anything. It's more like, I probably only open up donations, like, once I know people are gonna be donating. Alright. But yeah. Also, you mentioned you've blocked YouTube from your PC. I'm kind of curious as to why that is. Is it like you're too addicted to it and you want to like force yourself to be productive or something? Because, I mean, I've done that before. Alright. First answer. Something that should be illegal. Cock. Cock should be illegal. You know why? Well, look at it. It's basically said every week without context or anything. Cock should be illegal. There are great men out there with it, but cock should be illegal. There, I said it. This one's written by Zana. Now, I would agree with this. However, I feel like this is a bit ironic coming from Zana, because you are the one who does the cock. You are the one doing the cock. A lot of these, it's you. You're the one with the cock. So, I don't know. You say it's basically said every week without context. It's like, gee, I wonder whose fault that is, hmm? I wonder. Wait a sec. A lot of figures on pre-order, but there's a chance I won't see them for a long time. I've never gotten a figure before. They're very expensive. But they look nice. I don't know where I'd put them, though. I don't have, like, shelves or things like that. Local streamer forces viewers to donate in order to watch his streams. Yeah, do you want me to be, like, one of those other, like those... There's, like, those Twitch streamers who, like, shame their audience. You ever seen those? Like, who shamed their audience for not giving them money? Like, If you're broke, just say so. You mean you can't afford $5 to pay your streamer? Man. You know, you're forcing me to do free labor here. Don't you know that streaming is a difficult job? The least you can do is pay me money. It's the least you can do. You owe it to me. You know, do you think I do this for free? No. No. You give me your money. Or else you're broke. If you're broke, just say so. Pulling a Pokemon there. I've been collecting them since middle school, and I've been storing them in my closet. I'm reorganizing my figures. Awesome. Yeah, I think people who have lots of anime figures are cool, because that's a lot of aura you're building up. You're very invested in anime and otaku culture. You got all the cool stuff. I like that stuff. I don't have a lot of that stuff myself, but like, if I ever walk into someone's room and they have freaking anime posters up and anime figures and whatever else stacked in their room, my respect for them is gonna go up immediately. I'm gonna be like, yo, this is so cool. Don't shame me for not giving you money or I'll leak your search history. Okay, okay. Listen, no need to get drastic now, okay? No need to get drastic. If you ever want a tour, let me know. Really, you'd give a tour? I mean, you could on the Discord sometime. I actually have been meaning to maybe become more active on the Discord, because I feel like I don't really interact with you guys much outside of the streams, and I would like to change that if I can. Because, I mean, it would take less effort than streaming, just like hanging out. I'm thinking of maybe doing more like Gartic phone events. So I might try to set some of those up. Or even, not even like a thing planned ahead of time, I could just hop into the VC. Hello, Toy! Welcome to the stream! Welcome! Yeah, that's right, Sana's been exposed. You're extremely brain rotten. Yeah, fair enough. I understand the sentiment, Tedia, wanting to block YouTube so you're not addicted. I've done that. I haven't done that in a while. I guess I just kind of care less about that. I still use YouTube a lot, though. It's just, I don't think YouTube is the reason why I'm not doing things. It's kind of more than that. Exhibit Menhera Monday idea, reviewing viewers' desk setups or something. Yeah, I could. I mean, I feel like that's a good idea in theory, but then also the thing is that, it probably couldn't be a whole stream. It'd probably only be, like, part of a stream. Because, you know, there's not that many of you right now, because we're a smaller community. And so if I'm going to look through submissions, you know, there'll probably only be a few, because, like, not everyone's going to do it either, you know. Not everyone's going to submit one. So there might be like 7 or 8 at the most. Maybe less. But we could do that as part of a stream. You know, could do that. But a lot of streamers have done that, like reviewing people's desks. That's and then I could see some like really cool ones that look awesome and badass. And then also see some really fucking horrendous ones where there's like tissues everywhere and like cum on the keyboard. Like, that'll also be interesting. I'd be happy to do a figure showcase on Discord too whenever people want. Yeah, we could. I'd be happy to see your guys' stuff. It's getting dark in my room. I'm gonna turn on my light. Give me a sec. Alright, I'm back. Right, so I'm not actually... I know I don't, like, appear much in the Discord, right? Necessarily. I'm not always talking. That's not because I don't want to. It's just I'm kind of, like... I'm not naturally social. I kind of need to make myself do it. Like, I'm not one of those people who if I put myself on autopilot, I'll just naturally be super social to everybody. No, if I'm on autopilot and I'm not actively trying to get myself involved in things, I'll basically just not talk to anyone for, like, a really long time. I've had periods where, like, I just forget to socialize for a long time. There's this one period where I avoided talking to people for, like, a long time, and then I started to feel really weird. I was like, oh man, I feel this weird pain, and I don't know what it is. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I can't explain it. Like, I'm distressed. What's going on? And then eventually I realized, I'm like, oh shit. Wait a second. That's loneliness. I've actually been away from people for so long that I've experienced loneliness, even though that's, like, not a thing that's easy for me to feel, because, like, I'm a fucking loner. And so I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I tried to, like, amend that. You know? Like, I'm sometimes bad at actually understanding my own emotions, and so I just don't know if I'm feeling something, and I'm like, oh shit, what am I feeling? Oh, it's this, and it's like, yeah. And then I don't notice the feeling until it gets really strong. Hello, Angel Dust, welcome. So we have to ping you for every small little thing to get you to talk to people? Well, maybe not that. Maybe not that. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Right. Alright, I missed some messages. Mine is set up rather pathetic, but not in a slob way, in a I'm broke way. Maybe someday I can show you guys my desk, but I need to be careful that, like, my reflection isn't in any of the fucking anything here, you know? I could show you guys my room, I don't want to show you guys anything that... You know, knowing some of the freaking GeoGuessr pros out there, I could, like, just show my wall, and they would, like, find out where I live. They'd be like, oh, this pattern on this wall is common in houses along this street. This specific street in this specific city. And it's like, they'll, and then they'll identify which house I'm in. I don't know. Same, my autopilot is also silenced. Honestly, I have to warm up to people because if something changes in my surroundings, my first instinct is to observe from a distance and determine, do I like this? Good start is chatting with us on Discord. I want to help cure your loneliness. I know the feeling of loneliness all too well. Just to clarify, I'm not lonely right now. I'm not lonely right now because I'm interacting with people enough. But I don't, not only did I subscribe, but I rang the bell earlier. What? Crazy. Crazy pun. Also, hey, handsome. Hello, Moxie. What the frick? Rang the bell. Dear Lord. Did you ring the bell, Moxie, or did you do a ding-dong ditch? Lonely fans. Haha. There's a video called The Lonely Fans of OnlyFans. I always thought that was a clever title. Alright, so, next one, I guess. Next one. Finally. We've only been on the first one so far, but that's fine, because we gotta stretch this out, because we have less responses. Something that should be illegal. Cutting funds or spending to rural areas. Hear me out. I live in an extremely rural area, and we're left to our own devices if a natural disaster were to happen. This also includes our school, so basically we're underfunded with the schools, and in other areas that shouldn't be left underfunded. Rural areas should be just as important as urban areas. And this one was written by Riku. Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, it seems like... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where funding is cut for, like, things that are, like, really essential for people, or, like, important for, like, them to stay alive, or just have a good livelihood. And, you know, people have some fucked up priorities sometimes, you know, they'll cut the funding for, like, really important stuff so that they can put funding into, like, other things. But, you know, that's how it works. The people in power want the money to go to them. They want the money to go to the stuff they like. They don't want to help regular people. They don't want to help poor people. They don't want that. They don't want that. They need the money. They need it more. You know, they won't be able to buy their second mansion. Isn't that sad? They need it more, because, like, if they don't get that second mansion, that's so sad, you know? There are so many children in need in this world who might not get to ever have their own yacht whenever they're older, you know? Because the rich parents won't be able to afford a yacht for them. Because of the greedy poor people demanding to have funding spent on, like, actual services that they can, you know, benefit from. Those selfish poor people. You know, just imagine poor little Jimmy is never going to have his own yacht whenever he gets older. He's never going to get his own island. And he'll never get to have a private jet. You know? Like, this, it's so sad. It's not fair. It's not fair on them. Those evil poor. Maybe I called her, maybe I produced an heir, I'll never tell. I produced a new heir, bark bark. Bro! I'm playing with my bells right now, okay. I'm up in the bell tower all night, I swear to God. Bro, is this just a big orgy? Is this like... Are all you guys fucking? Is that what's going on? Man, it's disgusting. Why are all of you guys freaking having an orgy without me? Somebody better be wresting me from this tower. I want to be a princess, not the hunchback. Poor little Jimmy, true. Bro's gonna unironically be saying this after opening up donations, true. Yeah, I'm gonna be, like, guilting people into giving me money. Selfish poor people asking for help. Maybe if you exploited your workers like me, a real billionaire, you'd understand. Yeah, it's like... Poor. Why are people poor? They can just become rich. Like why don't they just, like... Why don't you just, like, get a house? If you're homeless. Just buy a house. And, like... If you just work hard, you can get rich too. You know? If you just work... You know, if you just, like... You know? Like, what's the problem? You know, if you just gotta start your own business, right? Selling, fucking... I don't know, anything. You gotta be creative. You gotta sell frickin'... handbags? You wanna sell eggs? You know? And then you can get rich. And then you can just exploit workers. You can exploit people. Like, if they can do it, then why can't you? It's easy. Just exploit workers. You know, like, it's not that hard. Like, all you really... They don't even have to be willing. It's like, you could, like, go... kidnap people. Or even, like, buy people from other countries. And then make them work for you. And then you get a lot of money. So, like, I don't get what the big deal is. Exhibit, you're playing with fire. I'm sent another answer now. What do you mean, playing with fire? Exhibit, we'd never orangey without you. I brought the body pillow. Nice. Wonder if I've missed some messages. I need to make sure the chat's showing me everything. I'm gonna need like 15 of them for research purposes. 15 of what? The 15 people? Were you referring to me saying to like buy people? Or are you referring to Toy Box's body pillows? People are poor, bro, just work. True, exactly. If you worked, the money would go down to you. Trickle down economics, as they say. I wish something would trickle on me. Damn. That thing trickling down is water. Used to own chickens back during quarantine. I only had 20 chickens and my neighbors kept trying to steal them and actually broke my gate. What? Chicken thieves. Chicken thieves. Chicken jockey. Oh man. Chickens are cool. And they taste nice. Hey, you're live? Yes, I am. Welcome, Mr. Weenus. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so moving to the next answer. Something that should be illegal. Adultery. This one's written by Tedia. Now, I think this submission is pretty interesting, actually. Because a lot of the time when we think about the law, we're like, okay, well, what is the law? It's like, a lot of people would say it's us enforcing morals, right? It's us trying to make sure that people don't do bad things and make sure we don't do harmful things to each other. But there's a lot of things that are harmful and are bad that we don't make illegal, right? For example, adultery. You know, cheating on your partner is something that's very harmful and very bad, and we'd all say that's immoral, but most countries don't make that illegal. And most of us would not say that cheating on your partner should be illegal. Most people would say, oh, that's just not something the law should be involved in. So, and, you know, I agree with that, because I don't really think the law should get involved in people's personal relationships in that way. I think that's something that should be sorted out between people. But a lot of people, you know, but it's interesting how people like me, and probably most of you, have that opinion. But then, you know, the answer is, the question is, like, where do we draw the line? Like, where do we, you know, like, what kinds of wrongdoings and immorality should be illegal, and what kinds should be, you know, left alone? You know, but I mean, you know, adultery is illegal in a lot of states? Yeah, I did forget about that. I think I heard that once. Yeah, it's just like an unenforced law, I suppose. But I mean, it's interesting, because there are certain kinds of wrongdoings that we think should be illegal, and some kinds we think shouldn't be, and it's kind of hard to precisely say, like, where we draw the line on that, because we'd say, okay, well, you know, murdering someone is wrong, and that's illegal. But some of us would say lying is wrong, but then that's not illegal. I don't think lying is wrong, though, but that's just an example. We might, you know, but it's complicated. I guess law is there to keep, law is there to keep order more than anything, I suppose, which, you know, for better or for worse. But I don't know. It's like, you're betraying someone who put their whole life and emotions into you. Crimes of these kind are prosecuted, but adultery is not, even if you can literally ruin someone's life through it. I do think that's a really interesting argument, because, like, it is true that, like, cheating on someone is a very harmful thing. So, I can see the argument. It's like, you know, if we think harmful things should be illegal, then it kind of makes sense. I think my reasoning for like not thinking it should be illegal is more just to do with like I think it would kind of be the government overreaching a bit, because like firstly, you would need to like prove the cheating, which would mean they'd have the right to start like, you know, say your partner accuses you of cheating, now the government has the right to like look into it and conduct an investigation. And so, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, I think, you know, people conduct investigations for other kinds of like sexual crimes, and I think that's situations like that are extreme enough that it's justified because, and you know, but for something like cheating, like an accusation of cheating, I don't think it's, you know, I don't think the police are justified in investigating my life and collecting evidence and like invading my privacy just to find out if I'm cheating or not. Even because like you don't have to actually be guilty of it in order for them to conduct that investigation, because they'd be doing it to find out if it's true or not. That's part of why I'd be against it. I mean, you could argue, or you could argue that it's only going to be enforced in cases where it's obvious, but then, you know, it'd be kind of easy to get away with. But I don't know, just the other idea is just that, like, I feel like relationships should be, firstly, I think relationships should be a personal matter, like, just as a matter of principle, rather than something that the government is involved in. But secondly, I think if the only reason your partner isn't cheating on you is because it's illegal, I don't think that's very valuable, right? I think that the purpose of the law is to prevent harm, not to be retributive. So I think you should only implement a law if it will prevent that thing from happening. I think that's the benefit of a law. You enact laws so that they're a deterrent from people doing bad things. I don't really care about people getting, like, oh, what they deserve or whatever. I care about making society better. And so when it comes to something like punishing people for cheating on their partner, if the only reason they're not cheating on their partner is because they're afraid of the legal consequences, I don't think that's valuable. You know, if I had a partner and the only reason they decided not to cheat on me is because, oh, it's illegal, it's like, that's not someone I want to be with anyway. So it's like, that's already a relationship that shouldn't really be happening. And I think if anything, you know, yeah, I don't know how to, like, you know, prevent people who are not in love to get out of marriages out of benefit and scam the other one. Let me try to understand what that... It would prevent people who are not in love to get into marriages out of benefit and scam the other one. Uh-huh. I'm not sure I quite understand it. I guess some people get married for, like, green cards and whatever. Is that sort of what you're referring to? But then they scam the other person. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there are different situations. There are marriages that were never wanted by one or both halves. Yeah. Lying is illegal depending on what you lie about and who you're lying to. Yeah. That's true. What if the person is abusive and won't sign for divorce? Yeah, actually, yeah, that's another thing I should have mentioned. I kind of didn't... I was kind of trying to think up that point, but I didn't articulate it. Yeah, another concern would be, like, not all marriages are marriages that are supposed to, like, continue? Or, how do I put it? It's like... if two people are in a relation... like, they're technically married, but they're not in love anymore, and it's a mutual thing, neither of them actually like each other, it's weird for the law to get involved and punish them for doing something that they have a right to do. You know, if they're not interested in each other anymore, they're allowed to do that. Also, what if, I don't know, what if a husband and a wife are having, like, an open relationship or something? If you had a law preventing, having sex with someone who's not your spouse, it's like, well, now suddenly that's illegal. And, that won't necessarily account for a lot of people because, open relationships are not exactly the main way of doing things for most people, but I still think it matters, right? I think it's kind of fucked up if the government punishes people for doing something that's completely consensual. And, you can... I think that's the case. I feel like you should agree with that regardless of whether you think, like, what kinds of relationships you think are, like, the best for people. I think that's just fucked up either way. Yeah, it's just whenever the government gets involved in stuff like that, it's very, there's just a lot of potential for bad stuff to go on, Because, like, again, if both parties aren't in love with each other anymore, but they're still married, maybe they haven't done the divorce process yet, maybe that will take time. But, like, according to this law, if they do have sex with other people in the meantime, or they do see other people, then they would actually be charged with that. But I guess you could set it up so that they only get punished if, like, one side presses charges, but then that also creates a chance for betrayal, because they might say, oh, it's fine, we're going to do open relationship, or I'm not interested in you anymore, and we're going to get a divorce soon, so we're just going to do our own thing. The one party goes and does their own thing, and the other betrays them by reporting them and be like, they're cheating on me. So that would also be bad. But, I do think in an ideal world, you don't get married in the first place unless you're sure you want to be together. And if you're sure you're going to stick together for the rest of your life, that is, like... that is the purpose of marriage, right? Is that you're supposed to be something that lasts for the rest of your life. But, we're not in an ideal world. Some people get in abusive relationships. Some people just make really dumb decisions. Where it's, like, incredibly obvious that the relationship should come to an end. Or they get married way too fast. And I just think we need to prioritize people's ability to, like, escape those situations over, like, the sanctity of marriage, or whatever, however we put it, Because, yeah, in an ideal world, marriage would be this, like, sacred thing that we never break. But I think we need to prioritize, like, people escaping abusive situations and, I don't know, just, By the way, I'm still... there's lots of messages here I haven't read yet, but I'm finishing my current yap before I do things like that. Honestly, don't understand cheating. Why wouldn't you just either break up with the first partner before pursuing a second new partner? That's just one thing I've never understood. Yeah, I mean, it would be easy to just break up, but I think the reason why people cheat is because they're still attached to their current partner. They still have feelings for them. They're like, I like what I get from this relationship. It's very nice and fulfilling. But I want to get extra. I feel lustful towards other people. And so they would never be okay with that. But if they never find out, then it's never going to be an issue. If I just have sex with other people and they never find out, then we can continue to like each other and feel good with each other and just have a happy relationship, and they won't know that I'm experiencing all this extra pleasure on the side. That's sort of their mindset. But of course, that's very selfish and very... It's just an awful... Yeah, because that's an awful thing to do to someone that you love, because you're really breaking their trust. They put a lot of trust in you. And it's just... It's a massive betrayal of just everything that the two of you were supposed to be. But then they would leave you to sleep with others, and you would lose so many toxic relationships. Because a lot is letting you know that they would cheat on you if they could. Wait, my brain's not braining. You might be responding to something I said earlier, but I don't know what it is. Well, sometimes the situation is complicated, especially when there are kids in the picture or they're financially dependent on each other. Yeah, there's that. I mean, sometimes people want out of their marriage and they don't really want to be in it anymore, but they're just staying together for like the kids and stuff. And so in situations like that, they might also want to cheat because it's like, um, but you know, in that case, they really should just talk about it with the other parent and be like, you know, I'm feeling this way. Do you want to explore other options? We can keep taking care of the kids, but maybe we should see other people or something. Well, that's not really good for the kids though, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to win, right? If you're in a, this is why people really need to put thought into like things before getting married, right? If you get married and you have kids and you stop liking each other, that's a disaster, because then the kids are going to suffer for that no matter what happens. Get married, get cheated, get... I didn't read all of it. Get half of all your money stolen by someone who wanted to scam you. You know what? Yeah, I... I think... Okay. I think... Hmm. Let me think about this. Because I get your point there, that people get married and then they get divorced and get all their stuff stolen and whatever. You know, especially if it's a poorer, dating a richer person, they can just take all their stuff if they divorce. And that's bad. I do think, actually, I'll maybe like half agree with you. I think that if your partner cheats on you, then they should not get anything in the divorce. So if your partner cheats on you, and then you divorce after that, you should be able to do that without losing any of your stuff. Or you should get all the stuff, right? I guess. There might be issues with that system as well, but I do dislike the idea that someone can cheat and you just have to deal with it, and you just have to keep the marriage or choose to like let them have everything. Whenever you do break that off, I do think that's bad, and we do need a way around that. Other countries not have prenups. Well, actually, yeah, I think prenups are available in plenty of places. I think plenty of people just don't think to do it. Especially if you like really trust your partner, you're like, oh, we won't need it because we don't plan to divorce. But then they do, right? Because you don't get married in the first place if you think you're going to divorce. You shouldn't really be doing that. You know, this is why you really need to put thought into marriage, because it's supposed to be something that you never go back on. You really need to think about it first. But then... yeah, it's just a fucking mess. I mean, I certainly don't think people should have to, like, lose half of their property and money to someone who cheated on them. Because obviously you're going to want to divorce someone when you find out that they've done that to you. So I think the law should side with the one who's been cheated on. You know, if there is a way to prove that cheating has happened. Because you can't always prove that either. But if it's obvious, if there's freaking like social media evidence or something, I don't know. You know, I don't, you know, something like that. That's what I want in theory. I disagree. They should keep their stuff even if they cheat. It's immoral, but they are still humans that need food and money, and it'd be unfair if the other one didn't give stuff but one did. I don't know. Like, I don't... Like, if I marry someone, and then I find out they're cheating on me, and now I want to divorce them, I shouldn't have to lose my stuff, even though they, even though they were, you know, using me. But, I mean, I get your point. I mean, I guess it's not good to just, like, force people to go homeless or whatever, but... I don't know, I'm kind of circling back. I'm kind of circling back to Tedia's view, because I'm now starting to, like, see his reasons for, like, doing this, because, like, I am starting to... Yeah, I mean, yeah. Imagine you marry a rich guy because your family's in poverty and he seems nice, but then he's a jerk and abusive in any way, but you can't leave without your family falling back into poverty. I guess. Yeah, we're always going to find edge cases where it's, like, an issue, I guess. Yeah, but here's what I think. Okay, so, I don't think that adultery should be illegal in general, like as a general thing, right? Like I don't think you should go to jail or be fined just for adultery, but I think that if you commit adultery and then a divorce happens, then the divorce should side with the person who was cheated on. Now, in what way it sides with them, I'm not sure. Like, if I was an actual person actually creating these laws, I would obviously put a lot more thought into it. I'm just saying, in theory, this is what I would prefer. And I would have to figure out the logistics of it, and figure out something that doesn't, like, you know, leave people homeless, or doesn't, like, have all these, like, edge cases. You know, you could account for edge cases by just adjusting the law and taking into account certain things. You know? Like, you could also say that in a divorce, the side that has committed abuse, if you can prove abuse, the side that has committed abuse, you side with them, right? And you could do that as well, but then proving abuse is difficult too, so... Again, these are logistics that if I was actually creating the law, I would have to go through all of this and, like, be very intricate with it. But, alas, I'm a VTuber, and I'm not actually going to be implementing these laws. I'm just saying, this is nice in theory. This is, like, the direction I would want things to be in, you know? Okay, I've missed so many messages, because I'm... Let me see. The guy next who didn't want to break up, even though I did. I never even wanted to be with him, to be honest. He would physically stop me from leaving, though. And if he thought I liked other people, he'd get violent. Okay. Yeah, and if you'd married that person, that could have been an issue. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's, gosh. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, that's a good point. You know, that is another reason why it does make sense for the government to not get involved in adultery and things. I don't know, yeah, it's... Ugh, fuck, it's messy, isn't it? Alright, I'm missing so many messages. I want to respond to a lot of these, because you've said a lot of... There's too many shows that promote the idea of cheating, such as The Ranch or The Notebook, that we tend to romanticize cheating like that. I've never read those things, but I've heard of them, and I've heard people, like, parody them and talk about how they're very silly and make cheating seem cool. Yeah, that's pretty silly. Yeah, I mean, I do... If your partner is literally abusive, and you're afraid to leave the relationship, like, I do think cheating is justified in that case, because, like, you're literally only in it because you're afraid of leaving. It's, like, kind of a hostage situation. But yeah, sorry to hear you went through all that, Toy. It sounds really difficult. You should get more because you lost a lot of time of your life with someone who did that to you, and you won't be getting back in court, they say. Emotional damage. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like some other people's points are making me think that it wouldn't, like... that, like, adultery shouldn't be recognized by the law, but, like, I get your point. I get that it's, like, a big problem. I just think that there's too many other problems that would cause if the government started to, like, recognize adultery. Like, even in the case of divorce. Because, again, it would affect people in, like, abusive situations and so on. Like, I think it sucks that people can get away with that. But... I would just encourage people to, like, not... No, that doesn't make sense. Because you never know if someone's gonna cheat on you ahead of time, really. I don't want to just end on "it's complicated." That's such a cop-out answer, you know? Okay, I'll say this. I don't really think... Yeah, I don't think that the government should get involved in adultery, really. Just because there's too many issues with it. But I can see the point. I can see the argument, but like, yeah. It's not that I don't see the argument, just making law would be a nightmare, yeah. I know Japan doesn't count intimacy as cheating, only if money isn't exchanged. Does it count as cheating? Oh, okay, so you can do Oh, is that why in Japan a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not cheating if I do it with a prostitute." I feel like that's something some people have like said in Japan, and I'm guessing that's why. So you can do it with prostitutes and it's not count as that under the law. Prenups are just in case because you never know. You don't go into marriage thinking of divorce. Ideally, you do it because some people are house husbands or wives, and it will suck if divorce happens. Yeah. Too hard. Let's just abolish romance altogether. True. Why bother? Like it all, you know, it all. I shouldn't encourage that, but don't worry, don't need to post an answer. Should make sure it's be illegal, that'd be funny. Sometimes you gotta say it's complicated, yeah, I guess. Yes, as long as you do it with a woman of the night, it doesn't count. A woman of the night. Wow. Huh. So it's not cheating if I do it with a prostitute. Okay. Or should I say... I know some people correct you whenever you say, like, they're like, no, you don't call them prostitute, they're a sex worker. The issue with that is that there's different kinds of sex workers, right? It's like there's freaking... porn stars are also sex workers. So, like, I've gotta be specific, right? I've gotta say prostitute. Or a whore. I'd get myself a whore. Escorts, yeah, maybe that's a nicer word. I just don't want to get banned on YouTube. Yeah, the filter is kind of stupid on here, because, like, I don't want the filter on, but I can't disable it. Alright, I don't know if I've missed any important messages, so I'm sorry if you guys wanted me to see something. But I suppose I should just move on. Because I probably... there's so much stuff here. I don't see why it should be their responsibility to pay you since even you betrayed them. I mean, I agree fully. I agree that it's like a... not a good thing. And like in an ideal world, they just wouldn't... you wouldn't have to pay for someone betraying you. I just think that legally, it's a complicated thing. And legally, if you put people in trouble for things like adultery, and you have the law actually if the law is allowed to define relationships like that, it's going to cause trouble for people who aren't actually with malicious intentions, so like innocent people get caught in the crossfire. Your Honor, I didn't cheat on her. I forked 7 prostitutes, not 7 non-prostitutes. I mean, in Japan, that would work. Alright, alright. I know, rather depressing topic, but you know, I like talking about the deep topics. I like doing that. Alright. But I do think it's an interesting answer. Like, it's a controversial answer, but it's one that makes... There's arguments for it. And, like, most people don't agree with it, but there's arguments you can make as to, like, why it works. Alright. Something that should be illegal. ripping people's art without consent for use, and training generative AI models. Generative AI could be cool in theory for little things, like getting the exact pose reference you want, tweaking small things in your artwork, or even just for making little shitposts here and there. The problem I have is that pretty much all AI art models are trained with thousands of stolen artworks, and now some larger companies are no longer hiring artists that could give them genuine high-quality art, because now they're using AI, which will generate shitty-looking images that were made with stolen art. This one was written by Spider Guy. Yeah, generative AI is kind of, a big thing right now, and it's becoming a big problem for artists, because obviously, in some cases, it's sort of making... It's getting artists out of a job, and we're kind of moving towards a future where no one's really gonna value real artists anymore, because they'll just be able to make something else much more easily and much cheaper. And then like real art that comes from the human soul will just not really be as valued. And we're going to move towards a future where everything's just automated. And you know, it's ironic because the things we want automated, we wanted to automate all of the boring shit, all of the menial tasks, so that we'd have more time to be creative and do art. But now it's the other way around. All of the art and all of the creativity is being automated, so that now we have more time to do all the menial, difficult tasks that we don't like. Now you know, it's kind of just a dystopian idea, but the thing is, AI art as a concept is not inherently unethical. The only part that's actually unethical is the fact that it's using people's art without consent. That's the only part that's unethical, because if it were the case that you trained an AI model using only art that was submitted voluntarily, like let's say you paid a bit of money to people every time they sent a piece of art in that was their own art, that would be perfectly legitimate. But no one's going to do that, because that would probably be very expensive and that would take so much time. So it's way easier to just get everything off of the internet, you know? But, you know, it's an interesting situation, and yeah, I do think that it's fine to use AI art for non-profit purposes, because if you think about it, it's not really stealing if you take someone's art and you use it for personal use. So let's say you see someone's art on the internet and you want to use it as your, I don't know, your Discord profile picture, or you want to use it as your, like, D&D character face claim, so that everyone, you know, like, you know, that's an art that's been made by someone and you want to use it for your own little project, your own little D&D campaign. You don't have to credit them when you do that, because it's a non-profit thing, and it's just a personal thing between your friends. And so in that same way, I think it's okay to use AI art for personal projects, because it's the moral equivalent of taking a piece of art off of the internet and not crediting it, and not giving any compensation for it. On the other hand, if you're like a game company, let's say, or an animation studio or something, and you take someone else's art off of the internet, and then you use it in like your game or your movie or whatever, and then you don't pay them for it, you don't credit them, you don't like give them any compensation, well, I mean, that would be illegal, and it would be wrong, and you could get sued for that. But, you know, with AI art, they can do that all the time. They can just take, you know, like anything, whatever's been put into that algorithm, they can just put it on and use it in their own things. And, you know, so that's why it's stealing. I think it's only stealing if you're using it for profit. I don't think it's stealing if you use it for a personal project, because that's the same as like I don't if I take someone else's art off the internet and I use it for a personal project, I don't need their permission to do that, because it's a personal project. And I don't need to pay them, because it's just between friends, you know? But that's how I'd argue that whole angle. I think the stream should be illegal? Probably. Yeah, I'm too dangerous. I'm spreading dangerous ideas to the people. Committing thought crimes here like 1984. Encouraging, yeah. I hate AI art. Thing is, I don't always hate AI art, but I kind of hate how prevalent it is. So whenever I feel like now, whenever anytime you look at anime art on Google Images, it's all AI art now. And it's so, because it's not even good AI art. It's not even the good kind. It's like really shitty stuff. It's like a face that's malformed, and like 7 billion fingers. And I just want to search, like, if you even right now, you go like search anime girl in freaking Google Images, and like there's a whole bunch of AI stuff there. Right, I guess this stuff doesn't look that bad, but you can, okay, well some of it looks, no, wait, Okay, whenever you type anime girl on its own, there's plenty of non-AI stuff. But if you get more specific with it, anime girl brown hair, let's say. Yeah, I typed in anime girl brown hair, and there's a bunch of, like... Okay, it's not happening as much right now, but I could have sworn. I've searched for things before, and it's all AI. It's, And, like, when I search something on Google Images, I'm looking for, like, good images, but then now it's so much harder to search for stuff. And it's annoying, because, like, you can't disable the AI images. You can't, like, filter them out. You just kind of need to deal with them when you're searching for stuff in Google Images now. It's so annoying. But yeah, that's my whole thing on that. My nan's grave's headstone is an AI-generated piece of art? Really? Really? That's crazy. We ethical gooners here. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Well, guys, look, I microwaved a meal. I'm a master chef. In fairness, there are some interesting things you can do with the microwave. You can make cakes with the microwave, but they don't taste that good. I have AI friends, though. This topic makes my head hurt. I agree with both sides. It's important to validate people who actually commit to the craft, but I also think it's not bad to make it accessible. Yeah, it's like any tool, it can be useful or destructive depending on how it's applied. I don't think people should... What I'm saying is, I don't think people should, like, make money off of it. I think it's fine to have that for, like, if you want to, like, create a character for your D&D campaign. You know, or even, like, as a reference for, like, an actual artist to, like, look at and, like, I don't know, to, like, convey to them, like, what you are thinking in your head. I think that's fine, too. Some people would disagree with that, because some people are like, oh, you should never use it. I'm like, you know, like if I'm with like an artist and they're like, okay, you want me to draw something for you, what do you want it to look like? I can describe it to them, but it's very hard to only use words to get across what is in my head. If I use an AI model, I could create something that looks, I could go at that for a while until I create something that looks the way I'm, like, wanting it to look. And I'm like, okay, I can show that to them and be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. And that's a way to it's just a way of conveying information to them. You're not using the art to show off. You're just conveying information to them and informing them, saying, okay, this is what I want it to look like. And then they can draw it more detailed and better and as a piece of real art. Now, I don't think any of this, what I'm saying here, really applies to, like, AI chatbots, although I guess people could argue that it, like, steals writing or something, but I don't know. I mean, I think chatbots are cool, and, I'm not sure if there's ethical issues with that. I mean, I'm not as clear on that, but I think it's fine to train, an AI bot to, like, say things and respond in like, accurate ways and stuff. Hmm. Yeah, so... See, that's better, though, using it for concepts and as a tool, not as a replacement. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, because I think it would be very useful for that. That means everything and nothing. Toy box, even me farting is AI. What? It's a buzzword essentially for complex enough heuristic models. Yeah, I mean, what we call AI isn't technically AI in the sense that we've used it in the past. We use it to describe learning models that learn based on, like, information that you sort of put into it, and then it, like, it, I don't know, there's that specific kind of thing. And, you know, technically we've had that kind of technology in the past, but we just haven't used it. It just hasn't been this good before, and we were not using it to this degree. This one AI I like because whatever I generate from it, it's mine, and it doesn't go to any of the developers of the AI, nor can it be shared with anyone unless I share it with myself. Yeah, that's also better, because, like, then you don't, like, it doesn't benefit them. One artist too, with the way I view AI, I'd more use it like I would Pinterest, more as a reference randomizer, give me ideas. But it's hard to find ethical AIs. Right, yeah, what you found what it looks like. Yeah, because Hmm. Yeah, because, like, I would hate to, like, not... for it to just not exist at all, because I think I think it's a good way to... as a tool. I just don't think you should be taking what you generate from the AI, and then using that in your product. As a... selling that, you know? But hang on, I've seen plenty of messages that I haven't, like, responded to, because I only, like, went over it. I lost second place in an art contest to AI art. That's crazy. That should not be allowed. That is definitely bad. I wish it was viable for me to do a VN with AI art, but sadly it can't retain consistent character design. Yeah, I guess that would be an issue. Because you could put in the same details, but then the character might look different when it has a different pose, or, like, a different position. If you have enough artistic friends, you can just make requests. Yeah, that's true. Real ones go on Rule 34 and add and they minus AI generate. Yeah, yeah, you can get rid of all that. Yeah. Pretty sure if you use, like, Gel Boru, I don't think there's any AI art on that. There. Yeah, hang on. I saw a message from someone earlier. I haven't seen it again, though. I forget who said it. Something about, yeah, like, VTubers making their models from AI, which is, you know, messy, because people are kind of reluctant to sort of like, pay artists to make models, obviously, because it's very expensive. But then, you know, the reason why they price it so highly is because it does take a lot of work to make those models. So, yeah, those people would be completely out of a job if everyone made AI VTuber models. It is a weird topic, actually. You know, I've thought about it. It's like, it is really, it would help people a lot to do stuff that they couldn't do more easily before. So, I don't know, it's tempting for some people to just ignore the ethical implications because they can more easily do something, get, like, and more, you know, make money from it and whatever. Yeah, well, can't wait for an AI-generated anime series. They had a AI-generated, you ever seen those live streams? AI-generated SpongeBob, AI-generated Family Guy, and it's like running 24/7, so like it keeps making up new scenes, and it's like a randomized scene with some funny thing happening in it. Even though VTuber models aren't a necessity, you can be a PNG tuber and commission people to make your PNGs. You don't need to be a VTuber, although I understand the appeal. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It'd be one thing if you're using AI because it's like a necessity. It's how you survive, it's how you live. But, you can, if you want to get into the VTubing sphere, there are many options. Again, so, the option I took, because commissioning someone would have been way too much money. I got a pre-made model, so this isn't commissioned. This model was already on the internet. It costed like, I think £50? Maybe more, maybe less, around that range. And that's way cheaper than if you commission it. Obviously that's not money to scoff at. You know, some people in situations might not be able to afford that. But the other thing is, you know, PNG tubers. So if your objective is to like have a VTuber-like vibe, where you have like an avatar that represents you, and like you get to be like a mascot of your own channel, then my brain is buffering. Then you can use a PNG. You could be a PNG tuber, and you have a little PNG in the corner that will, you know, it's like it's a still image that only moves whenever you speak. So then you can make it look like, make it all, you know, it's like a little animated thing, but like you can either draw one or just use like an image that's already on the internet as long as you like credit it. And then getting an artist to, or you could get an artist to draw that for you, and that'd be way cheaper than getting them to do, getting them to make your own model. But yeah, and then that also gets you into the VTubing sphere, because if your objective is to like be part of the VTuber community, PNG tubers are kind of like slightly in the door of the VTuber community, so that also kind of gets you there too, and you might, you know, VTubers can sometimes like collab with PNG tubers, and you know, there's, you know, they tend to be accepted in the space. Don't talk about AI SpongeBob around me, bro. Yeah, did I miss anything? But hello, Noah. Hello. I did not say hello to you when you entered. Oh, but you're Lucas. Okay, you're Lucas, not Noah. Alright, well, hello, Lucas. As far as I'm aware, popular AI chatbots like Character AI don't steal from writers. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So there's nothing wrong with having a, yeah, AI chatbots, I think is, there are other concerns, like obviously I think that might be bad for people mentally, but it's not wrong to use them. And it's not wrong to make money off of, well, I mean, I don't know, it depends on if you think it's wrong to like exploit people's loneliness. You could argue I'm doing that with my ASMR channel, you know, their boyfriend audios, but I'd like to hope I'm not like making people's lives worse with them. If anything, I'm hoping that they make people's lives better. But I think it really depends on the person. Because I think some people can use content like that as a replacement for real-life connections, but that's not what I would encourage. I just want it to be like an additional thing to enjoy. Same way you'd enjoy like an anime or, you know, like a dating sim. So VA will not name who, but when I used to work for them, he tried to make me use ChatGPT to make scripts quicker, which I refused to use. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be kind of... AI chatbots are only problematic if you develop an addiction to it. That's true, yeah. I think it's fine to use it as long as you don't get addicted. But it seems like they are very addictive. There's people already talking about how they've, like, had their lives ruined by it. Which is really interesting. And, like, people talking about, like, recovering from AI addiction. Like, that's how... It hasn't even been that long since this stuff's been around. There's already people being like, oh, I'm recovering from an addiction. And I finally got in a relationship. You know, that kind of thing. Like, because again, it's like... It wouldn't work on me, because it feels too different. It doesn't replace human connection for me, because it just feels too different. But for some people, it does replace human connection, and for them, it's like way... Yeah. Hey Exhibit, after listening to every single ASMR video front to back, from front to back and back to front, I've decided to not interact with people and be a shut-in. For real. Exhibit, I send your hypnosis ASMR to anyone who'll indulge me. Fan finding the Exhibit A. Yes, thank you, I appreciate that. My hypnosis ASMR is really cool, and I do like people seeing that, because it's like... It's a more complex story than what you'd expect from, like, an ASMR video. It's more like a... It's like a psychological horror. So I still play your first ASMR Yandere Boyfriend series to this day. It's one of my favorites. Hell yeah! That's cool. I'm glad. Yeah, for example, there's a chatbot you can upload your own vocal samples to. They say you can only use your own voice, but there's really nothing stopping you from using whichever you want. Yeah, that's the thing. You could put someone else's in there. I'm actually curious, isn't AI voices the same as Vocaloid? Like, both use a voice pack, but one is where you pay for the licensing, and the other is simply used from the official TV show? So the difference would be that Vocaloid, they just get one person, and then they record that person doing a bunch of lines. And then they kind of made it based on that person, and like how would I describe the difference? So with that, with an AI voice, and the process is a bit different. No. Okay. Here's the difference. So, with, for example, Hatsune Miku, they brought someone in to do her voice, and then they'd like record them saying all sorts of stuff, and then as a result, you can now like use her voice as if it's like an instrument. So you can make her go ah, ee, ooh. It's like you control every little aspect of her speech. With AI, with Vocaloid, you're making it from scratch. So you construct the words yourself. With AI, what you do is you would take an already existing song of someone already singing something, and then you would swap that voice, and then make it sound like... You'd make it sound like someone else. Does that make sense? This is kind of complicated to talk about. It's like you would swap... You have to have someone sing the song first, and then you use AI to make it sound like it's being sung by someone else. Whereas with Hatsune Miku, or any Vocaloid, no one needs to sing it first. You just construct it from scratch, and the Vocaloid is the first one to sing it. They don't need to listen to someone else and then base it off of that. They just do it their own way, to begin with. And this is very... That's the best explanation I can give. The difference is AI voice replicates inflection, audio spectre, and everything. Vocaloids are sophisticated synthesizers with just timbre and tone. Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Yeah. AI chatbot addictions can get to a wild point. Back in high school, there was talk about someone who ended their life because their AI GF said to... Yeah, I heard about that, I think. It's my favorite, but far from my only favorite. Yes, and the first time listening to it is an experience that can't be replicated. Yeah, all the plot twists. I feel like if I start driving, that'll be the moment my answer comes up. Darn. Makes sense in my head. Yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, let's move on to the next question. We've been dwelling on this one for a long time. And now we've got 16. Holy crap, we got a whole bunch of new answers. Something that should be illegal. Let me read over this one. Okay, there's a word here I don't know the meaning of. Okay, I don't know how it is in the USA, but in Germany, it isn't illegal to make a racist treff that openly say that they support the man with H if you call it a demonstration. This one is written by Utopia. I'm not 100% sure what this means. A racist treff. It's T-R-E-F-F. Is that a word, or did they spell something wrong? Okay, it is actually a word. It is actually a word. Treff is a German word with multiple meanings, including meeting, meeting place, rendezvous, and in the context of cards, the club suite. It can also refer to a covert meeting, especially in espionage. Okay, it isn't illegal to, like, have a covert meeting of Nazis. I won't hold back saying the word, because I don't worry about getting censored. You guys probably won't be able to say it in chat, though, because it'll... I can't turn off the censoring, unfortunately, but... That openly... Okay. Something that should be illegal. So, here's the thing. I think Nazis are bad, right? I don't like Nazis. I don't know about you guys. I'm not a fan of Hitler. I'm not a fan. I know that's kind of controversial nowadays, but like, he's just not. I don't like him. He's just. I've never really liked that guy. You know, I just something about him. But anyway, like, even though I don't but shut up, just be solid. I like their fashion. Alright. Even though I don't actually... I think Nazism is extremely bad and horrible, I do also believe in freedom of speech. So I do not think that you should ever arrest people for, like, stating beliefs or, like, gathering, just saying things. And I think that needs to apply even in, like, situations that are, like, even if it's, like, an extreme ideology we're talking about. So, it's not that what they're doing is okay. It's still very immoral. It's just that it's very dangerous for the law to get involved in stuff like that. Because if you think about it, the law is defining what is acceptable to talk about. What if the law decides that actually your opinion is now illegal? Because there's precedent to do that. Now, obviously, I'd hope no one has, like, opinions of this nature. But if the government is like, okay, we can arrest people based on the things that they say. Sure, they'll arrest Nazis and people who are, like, actually bad. But let's say they now decide, okay, well, it should be now illegal to say you support, I don't know. It's hard to talk about this without, like, giving specific political examples. When let's say it's, it's illegal to... I don't know. It's illegal to say... I can't think of, like... Whatever. It's like, whatever belief you have, they might make that illegal, too. Because it's like, the government is deciding what is and isn't okay to say. It's like, someone needs to make that decision. Someone out there needs to be the one deciding what words are banned and what things are banned to talk about and advocate for. If you give the government that power, sure, they'll use it in ways that you agree with, but they're also going to use it in ways that you disagree with. And so you might end up being the victim of that too. You know? Like, look at China, right? In China, it is illegal to... Is it? I don't know all the freaking laws. It's illegal to... I don't know if it's illegal to like promote like or it's illegal to make like actually I don't know. I don't know the laws. I think you get a lower credit score at least if you make like games or media featuring, you know, like gay people, for example. Right? I don't know if it's illegal or if you just get a lower credit score or what the difference is between those two things. Like, you know, things like that, and it's like, okay, that is the government deciding, you know, what is okay and what isn't okay to portray in fiction. Or what is okay to, like, advocate for and say, and whatever. And that's just not a power that the government should have. It's like, it's all well and good to be like, oh, no, no, no. Make this illegal, but only this. Only this. Not the other stuff. It should be illegal to support, the man with the mustache. But don't, only that. It's like, okay, it's not only gonna be that. They're gonna be like, no, no, no. We're also gonna make this illegal. You know, it's like that's what happens when you stop saying that freedom of speech is a right and you say that the government should be allowed to determine what kinds of speech are acceptable. So anyway, that's... Be careful, exhibit people on UK are getting arrested for mild Facebook posts. Yeah, it's true. I thought the UK actually doesn't have freedom of speech as part of its law. So, the UK doesn't have that at all. It's like, I don't live in America. So, I live in the UK, where they don't have freedom of speech, but I do think it is something that should exist everywhere. Because otherwise, the government can just arrest you for saying things that they don't agree with. Because, keep in mind, you're going by the government's definition of wrong, by the government's definition of evil, not by yours. But, it's complicated, because, like, again, I don't want it to make it sound like I'm defending people with those ideologies. It's like you can't really... There's no way to get rid of them without also giving the government, like, undue power. And, I saw Spider Guy says, I believe in freedom of speech until it becomes hate speech, but then the issue is that it's kind of hard to define what hate speech is, right? But, like, I get the point. I definitely don't think we should be legally punishing speech unless it's genuine harassment. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's my view. Yeah, it is a situation. I also think the other thing is that I'm not even sure that, like, making something illegal to say is even a good way of getting rid of that ideology. I think it just makes it more underground. So, you know, say it's now illegal for people to be Nazis or to talk Nazi things. We're just gonna do it in secret now. And those people are even less likely to, like, debate those things with people who can, like, change their mind or, like, whatever, and it's like they're gonna double down on their beliefs. They're gonna feel more like the victims, because now they can't have open dialogue with people and, like, actually change their mind, and so anyone who gets into that is never gonna leave. So it's a complicated situation, because I do think that open dialogue is something. It's not perfect, right? There are downsides to people having freedom of speech. It's just that I think it's less bad than all the other options. So obviously, when you have freedom of speech, there's going to be bad things that happen sometimes. People are going to spread their bad ideas. But you need to combat bad ideas with good ideas. If you... yeah. Someone tells me to go back to my country and calls me multiple slurs. I think that might be hate speech, but I know it's difficult to specify hate speech when it's not so obvious. Yeah, I think there's some cases where it's going to be really obvious. But then again, I mean, I think there are situations where, to, like, any rational person, we could be like, oh yeah, that's definitely hate speech, right? We could look at that and be like, okay, that's, like, bad. But then keep in mind, it's not us who's deciding that. You're not the one who's going to be deciding who goes to jail. It's going to be some random people in the government. who are maybe going to be a little bit more biased than you. And so they might make it illegal for you to, like, I don't know, like, advocate for certain people's rights, or like they might make it illegal to. Well, they're already doing stuff like that, but like that's not a good thing. A similar thing happened during the Prohibition era in the US. Humans always going to do bad things. It's only a matter of whether it's done in secret or not. Yeah. And I think that open dialogue... I also think there's moral reasons why people should be allowed to say what they believe legally. So, people shouldn't be legally forced to, like, lie. Like, if someone has a belief about something, even if it's a really crappy belief, they should be legally allowed to say it. Because otherwise, the alternative is that the law is kind of forcing them to lie. And then on the other hand, it's like, if people have bad beliefs, the best way... I think we all change our minds a lot over the course of our lives. You know, like, stepping away from, like, the really extreme views for a sec. We all change our beliefs a lot throughout our lives. Sometimes about really important things. You know, I know I have. And the best way to develop good beliefs and to grow as a person is to talk about it with people. And to be like, hey, I believe this thing. Maybe it's a little controversial, maybe it's not that socially acceptable, but I believe this thing. And we're going to talk about it, and then maybe you talk about it with someone, and then they prove you wrong. They give you evidence, and they're like, yo, this, maybe you should reconsider that view. And then you walk out of that, and you're like, oh, okay, I've changed my mind. I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to change, you know? That is a very important part of your journey towards truth. If you don't have freedom of speech, though, and the negative, harmful beliefs are just illegal, or then you can't do that, because then you don't get to talk about that with people. If you have a belief that is considered socially unacceptable, whether that's like for better or for worse, then the law will just be like, no, you can't talk about that. You can't advocate that. And then you won't ever get to change your mind and grow from it. You know, so there's a lot to get at that's more complicated, but I'm kind of just... I'm talking about a really complex topic using my very limited words. There's a lot of stuff you could say about all this. It's hard to get into. Yesterday, people were being kind of racist at this concert I was at where it wasn't that obvious. Yeah, yeah, there's situations where it's very obvious to, like, ordinary people when someone's being hateful. This is a great stream to fall asleep to. I hope that just means it's very nice and relaxing. Hope that doesn't mean it's boring. But I think you just mean you're relaxed. I'm back. Are we still talking about the Nazis? Kinda, but I've probably said my piece on that now. But yeah. But yeah, Belle, what you said about the Prohibition era, I do low-key think that's like a good reason why maybe drugs should be legalized. Because then at the very least, people would not need to, people wouldn't need to go underground to obtain a lot of things. And they would do so more safely, it could be regulated, you could put a limit on, like, how much fucking cocaine you can buy. And it's not ideal, and maybe people would get it who wouldn't otherwise get it, but then I think there would be benefits to it as well. And also, I think you can argue that people should have the right to do things that are harmful to themselves legally. So there's another argument there. There's a lot of arguments for, like, legalizing drugs. Because, like, why punish someone? You know, you're punishing. You know, you're making something illegal to do something to themselves. It's illegal because of how it harms themselves. I don't think that's necessarily a good reason to make something illegal. You know, like, is it, you know, like, stabbing yourself is not a good thing to do, but is it illegal? I mean, they might intervene to stop you from doing it, but they won't charge you. Like, it's not illegal. I don't think. You can correct me on that, but... Yeah, relaxed. If I was bored, I'd be asleep already. Relax takes me a little while to fall asleep, too. Nice, nice. Okay. Next one, next one. Oh, okay. This one is kind of... This one's already been said, but I'll read it. Something that should be illegal. Controversial real salad opinion. Generative AI 100% should be illegal. I understand that some people may use it as a tool rather than a substitute. Think getting writing prompts or concept art for characters. But in my day-to-day life, it's genuinely become an issue. Last semester of college, someone used AI art for an introductory post. Like, it gets to a point where people are abusing it rather than properly using it, and it's low-key making some... Pretend I put a big red circle and some arrows around them to emphasize some, not all. Makes some people dumber. This isn't even bringing up the ethics of AI art and the whole thing that happened in Korea, making AI porn. It's like, I get it, why lump a big group of people who use AI for its intended purpose with other people? But the lack of regulations, at least in my country, makes me hate AI with a burning passion. But even if we said fuck you to the artist and writers AI companies steal from, justice for AO3 writers, the environmental impact is something I also can't easily look past. Yo, who wrote that? My real answer is Fortnite porn. Written by Salad. Yo. I see, I see. Yeah, so this is similar to what was said earlier, but it's a little different, I think. Because you're sort of... You brought up, like, people making... when you talk about AI porn, I'm assuming you mean, like, AI porn of real people, right? Where you're taking real people and showing them... You're basically showing their nudes to everyone without their consent. And it's like an AI-generated nude of them. And it's not actually their body, but it's like their... Or like... You put the image through and it makes them naked. And yeah, that's gonna be really bad. Because, you know... It's basically just a way of, like... Making a nude of anyone you choose to. So, like, no one has any privacy anymore. It's like, you know, it's like X-ray glasses in real life. So that's definitely not good. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where there needs to be regulation. So, you mentioned wanting it to be illegal. I would say there should be regulation with AI, like what you can do with it. I don't think it needs to be banned 100%. Just maybe things to stop people from, like, straight up selling, like, a piece of AI art, for example, or having it in their final product. You know? Yeah. Alright, let me catch up. I think it can be good to outlaw things that are self-harmful, but I'd go over it in my response. Ah, okay. I think in Canada there are certain places where you can do drugs on a higher level and have trained nurses be on standby in case of an emergency. Interesting, interesting. In most places, stabbing yourself is illegal. Alright, never mind then. It is illegal to self-harm. Okay, well... It's actually helpful as a harm reduction, but it's a controversial issue. Yeah, and there's you can debate about like whether the law is there simply to reduce harm or if it's there to like preserve rights. So like if you view the law as like existing to reduce harm, then you'd say yeah, it should punish people for doing things harmful to themselves, right? But then if you believe that the law priority is to preserve rights, then like, well, people probably have the right to do whatever they want to their own self, even if it's harmful. That's just a matter of choice. So it just depends on... And I think most of us would say the law is a bit of both. But it's just about which do you think is more important, or which do you think is, you know... I think it's more so it shouldn't be able to be used until the regulating were in place. Sorry, I'm driving right now. I can elaborate further because I was low-key tired as fuck. Yeah, no worries. You don't... I get that that's like a... What you wrote maybe isn't a full 100% representation of all of your thoughts. It's up to you if you want to expand on that more later, but you should focus on driving, that's fine. Yeah, art's a tool people love misusing, yeah. I'm glad it works in Canada because of free healthcare, but I'm wondering how other countries where you have to pay for medical care can integrate it. Well, like the answer to that would be to get free healthcare in those countries, but I don't know how easy that is. Salad, please don't cause a record-breaking car pileup again. Oh no, not again, Salad. Keep exhibiting and driving. Why can young people legally deny hospital treatment to die peacefully but not do bad things to themselves? It's sort of... I guess there's a slight difference. Because in one case, you're denying help, and in the other case, you are just actively harming yourself. Now, some people would argue that this is the same thing, right? Like, this is a whole nother philosophical topic. Is letting someone die the same as killing them? Is letting someone be harmed the same as harming them? You know, that's the question. Is denying treatment a form of self-harm? But, you know, like, there's a whole, like, killing and letting die, you know? If we just don't save someone, is that the same as murdering them? A lot of people would say, yeah. Is the same thing? Yeah, so, Luke, that's a perspective quite a lot of people hold, and I think maybe, they're still choosing to not live. It's kind of... Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. I would say, okay, I'd say it's only different if they are, like, in a lot of freaking pain. And they... You know, it's really horrible. And there's not much chances of things getting better for them. But in that case, it's different because they should be allowed to end things so that they can escape that pain, right? Which in which case, like, euthanasia would also be justified. If you're gonna die anyway and you're experiencing lots of pain. But that's a completely different thing, so maybe that's not related. Anyway, my point is, there's a debate. You know, is killing someone the same, or is letting someone die the same as killing them? You know, is letting a child drown and not saving them the same as if you shot that child in the head? Aren't they in a lot of pain if they're considering doing that? Well, I meant more if they're, like, gonna die anyway, and they're, like, a terminal illness. But also... Well, there's another debate, right? Like, is physical pain more important than emotional pain? You know, like, we don't say people should kill themselves if they're really depressed, but we do give people euthanasia if they're in a lot of physical pain. So, I don't know. That's another debate. I probably won't go into that because, like, I don't really know how to tackle that. But what I will go into is... But I mean, we shouldn't let generative AI be public use and therefore outlaw it right now until it's regulated. I guess, as like a temporary solution. Yeah, I suppose, maybe. But then I wouldn't want like regular people to like get arrested for using it for their D&D campaigns, right? But maybe if it's just illegal for like the companies providing it. If a child drowns and you watched, you could be charged for child neglect. Right, right. But stepping away from the law for a second, just talking about ethics. You know, do you think letting someone die is the same as killing them? You know, is letting a child drown the same as if you shot them? A lot of people would say, yeah, they'd be like, if you let someone die, you're basically killing them. A lot of people have that opinion. I've talked to people about it. But consider this. We're not choosing to actively give to charity a lot of the time, right? There's people whose lives we could be helping if we, like, gave to charity. For example, you know, there's kids dying of malaria in other countries, and if they get the money for it, they can get treatment and be saved from it. Or, you know, all sorts of other diseases. Also, you know, all that stuff, you know? Or, like, you know, people dying of starvation, all that stuff. If you give money, you could actually save some lives. Does that mean that if you don't give that money, you're actually guilty of killing them? Is everyone who hasn't given to charity when they're able to literally guilty of murder? Like, I think a lot of us would maybe say, okay, well, if you're able to, maybe you should give money. Some people would say it's an obligation to give some money. But very few people would say it's the same as murder, right? Very few people would say that. I would make the argument that we need to regulate the internet, like we did with TV back when it first came out. Like, at least when it got to 9 p.m., all the children's shows would be turned off, and adults could peacefully watch their shows meant for them while their children were asleep. Maybe. I've heard people argue that, like, social media and stuff should be banned for kids and whatever. It's a common sense thing by basis. To be honest, I dislike this Dunning-Kruger thing of trying to make every moral case universal. That is one thing. I mean, I'm bringing it up because I think it's fun to discuss, but that is something that I've sort of realized, Tedia. It's that on my philosophical journey, I've come to realize that if I try to be 100% consistent with my morals, it's nearly impossible to have a moral system that, like, works. Or that is, like, even recognizable as being, like, what we would call moral. It's very hard to be 100% consistent with everything. It's like, I'm not even sure if it's possible to have a moral system that isn't inherently contradictory. But yeah, it's like, if you think that letting someone die is the same as killing them, then I think that makes us all murderers. Like, unless you're literally, like, the poorest of the poor, there's probably some money you could be giving to charity that you're not, right? Like, if you, like, sure, a lot of us aren't rich. A lot of us are still, like, living paycheck to paycheck. But a lot of us still buy luxuries for ourselves. We still have luxuries for ourselves. You might buy yourself an Xbox. You might buy yourself games. You spend luxuries. You spend things to make yourself life better. You could be spending that money on charity to save people's lives, but you're not. Does that make us murderers? I don't think so. So that's why I don't think that letting someone die is the same as killing them. But then you're like, okay, well, letting a child drown would still be bad, right? And so it's like, is that to do with the proximity? Because you're close to it? Is that, like, what makes that different? And it's a complicated question. And that's something that Peter Singer went into in his freaking philosophy book, where he kind of argues that people should be giving to charity more. And it's a weird, uncomfortable thing, and it's something I've dwelled on for a long time, and I've gone through my own existential crises over it, and I've gotten over it. And now it's your guys' turn You're welcome. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me anymore. I feel like I've gone through this whole journey of like coming across all these like contradictions in my own ethics and my going on this journey of like, oh, how do I ground my morals? What makes something right or wrong? Blah blah blah. All these questions. I've had existential crises where I've thought through all these things before and like panicked over not being able to figure it out. You know, times when like every day I'd just be thinking constantly about these things. Like a freaking like panicked crazy philosopher. But I'm over it now. I've undergone that and I've come out of it, and now I've got my own current philosophy, which kind of just involves me not caring as much. Because I've sort of accepted that it's kind of impossible to come up with a moral system that's 100% consistent. It's not just that it's impossible in the sense of it being difficult. I think it's literally impossible. I just don't... I think our brains... We have an instinct to be moral. To, like, do the right thing and stuff. But that instinct exists even though doing so is kind of impossible. It doesn't... There's no way to really be consistent with our morals. Like, we want to be consistent, that's our instinct, but we can't. I know there's a singular moral that doesn't have some kind of loophole. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you can always think up some kind of like a counterexample to justify something that we believe is wrong. You can be like, oh, well, there's this other thing that's like similar to this, and that's okay, so then why isn't this also okay? But then if you did that with everything, then everything would be okay. And that, I don't think, well, that wouldn't be good, would it? You know, it's like, I'm 90% sure it's mathematically impossible per some obscure theorems. Yeah, so like, I agree with, I sort of agree, I mean, like, do I agree? I see what TD is saying with like, how he kind of dislikes making every moral case universal. It's like, that's what I used to try to do, and I still do to some degree, but I've come to realize that that's not really reasonable. But then that begs the question, it's like, you know, what right do I have to impose a moral on someone else if it can be presented with a counterexample? It's like, you know, I don't know, it's complicated. Anyway. It kind of just seems like morals are really subjective, and it's all just based on feelings, which is not the way I'd want to view morals, but unfortunately, it's hard to view it any other way. You know. Yeah, anyway. I give money to charity by raising money for a charity that conveniently supports me, as well as people with ACC, rare brain cognition. Agenis agensis of corpus calcium. Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like, we should just be... We're very concerned with coming up with these exact systems. I forget what AFAIK means. I used to know, I forgot. And no, okay, I forgot what that means. The endpoint of that thinking process ends up dogmatic in nature in high-level philosopher debates. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, I've seen a lot of that stuff. It's like people will debate, like, really... And they'll defend topics that sound, like, really absurd, and they'll be like, well, actually, if you think about it, if you want to be morally consistent, you have to be okay with this really weird thing. Even though it seems really abhorrent, but it's like, there's things that you currently do that are similar to that, and that you don't believe those are wrong, so why is this wrong? And it's like that. But then it's like, you have to attach morals to some kind of logic, so that has to be valid to some degree as well. So that's what makes it difficult. There's no real winning with it. And that's part of the crisis I've been through in the past. It's like realizing that. And so that's why I try not to care as much. I think at the end of the day, the real solution here is to not be so concerned with, like, coming up with a moral system where we have the rules to everything, where we're like, oh, this is okay, this isn't okay, like thinking of things in this binary, black and white way of thinking. Rather, we should just aim to do our best, you know? You know, like, maybe sometimes we can't define whether something is right or wrong. Maybe we can't say in such black and white terms, but we can say, you know, maybe we should just try our best to make the world a bit better, you know? Like, as for what quota you need to meet to be doing enough to be a good person, well, that's undefinable, but maybe you should just try. And that would be better than nothing. You know, maybe you can't really answer the question of how much money you need to give to charity before you're no longer letting people die, as people would put it, as Peter Singer would put it. But maybe instead of like panicking over it, being like, oh, am I a bad person for letting people die, when instead buying snacks and Xbox and games instead of helping children dying, it's like, you could just stop thinking of it in those terms and just be like, well, maybe I'll give some more money to charity, and then, you know, I'll just do a little bit more, but I won't like ruin my life over it. I really hate ghosts and goblins. I should drop this piece of shit. You know what's undeniably immoral? Making the stupid game. I don't think I've played Ghosts and Goblins. Oh, I know I haven't. I don't know if I've heard of it, that's what I mean. Or I don't know if I've seen it. I've probably heard of it. It's one of the main reasons why I think the internet needs to be... Okay, wait. There's more messages here. I recently read this one article that a mom only allowed her children to have social media once they're 18 and out of high school so that they wouldn't be victims from their peers or strangers. That's a nice idea in theory, but then, gosh, you'd be so left out of everything, right? Out of your friends. You'd be basically an outcast. You could not have anything. And, like... I feel like I'm gonna read the rest of your messages, but I'm just responding to this part. I think that's maybe a good idea up to like a certain age, but I wouldn't wait all the way till 18. Because I think that underage people need some degree of autonomy and ability to like do things and like explore things and all that, like within reason. Because otherwise, the thing is that every human has a need for, like, a degree of freedom. And humans, or adults don't have that need more than younger people. They actually have it to the same degree. Our need for freedom does not increase as we get older. It's just that we can't afford to give as much freedom to younger people because it's dangerous to let them have that much freedom. So it's not that it's any less bad for them mentally if you restrict them heavily. It's still bad for them. It's just as bad for them as it would be if you did that to an adult in terms of the psychological effects. It's just that it's more of a necessary evil. You know, you sacrifice some of their ability to be free so that you can keep them safe, but it's still a trade-off. If that makes sense. But, yeah, that's why I think social media is a way for people to, like, have a sense of self and, like, be part of things and do things, so... It's a little weird, because, like, yeah, if you put them in a school and all their friends have social media and they don't, it's gonna be hard for them to really, like, be part of things, and that's probably not good. But at the same time, I can see how someone would maybe be a much better formed person if they never used social media. So I guess I'm a bit conflicted on it. It's just whenever it's also I think about it from the child's point of view and like how I would have felt when I was like still a kid, because I would not have liked being so restricted. I mean, I was restricted as a kid actually, and I hated it. And I had to do a lot of things behind my parents' back. You know? and it felt horrible, and I just wanted to be free and have a sense of self, and I wished I was an adult, and now I am an adult, so that's why I'm so sympathetic to, that's why, like, I'm very skeptical about doing things that heavily restrict children, because it's like I sympathize with the desire to be free, because I really wanted to be free when I was younger and I wasn't. But at the same time, I recognize there's a degree of restriction that's very necessary, so... Alright, but I'll read the rest of what you said, because maybe that'll... So according to the mom, the reason she did it was because she noticed that children who did have social media, when they were as young as 14, became more exposed to things that hurt their physical and mental health and actually affected the way that they thought about themselves. And noticed that with her children, that they had a better way of grasping towards commitments and likes than the rest of her children's peers. For me, I agree and disagree at the same time, because I did meet a lot of bad people online, especially through everyday social media like Instagram or even something as innocent as DeviantArt. That's one of the main reasons why I think the internet needs to be regulated, because I'll be honest, I probably grew up a bit too fast because of the internet itself and my vast access to anything and everything I could ever think about, whether it was my own thoughts or other people's thoughts, or even what was suggested to me based on my stuff. Maybe a child could have social media, but that it must go through the parent first. That way, while it is the child's account, but it's monitored by the parent, and they should notice something sketchy off the child's account, or someone trying to interact with the account. Then it goes through the parent to handle it the way they want to handle it, including involving the police. Yeah, as innocent as DeviantArt. Yeah, funny. Yeah, it's like, I'm sure, I'm glad that I grew up with the internet. I'm glad that I did. And if I wasn't allowed to, if my parents were like, no, you just can't use the internet at all, I would have hated that, because there's so much cool stuff that I was able to do that I wouldn't have been able to do. I would have felt like even more of a slave than I already did. And it would have been bad. But on the other hand, I'm sure there's bad things that the internet did to me too. And that I might be better off with certain things that without certain things that I experienced or saw. But then it also depends on the person, because like I maybe got lucky. Some people grew up with the internet and they end up being horrible, they get influenced in like really bad ways. So not everyone gets as lucky as me. Some people end up worse off than me. So it's a complicated matter, I guess, because I'm sort of with you, and you sort of say you agree and disagree. I'm kind of in the same boat, because I see how that could be really beneficial, to just keep your children away from social media entirely. I'm sure they might be so much healthier in so many ways. But personally, I would have hated to go through that. I would have hated to be disallowed from being on the internet, from doing anything. Because that's also where a lot of my growth happened. I learned good things on the internet too. And it's especially bad because, like, the internet was also the only way that I discovered it's the only, it's the only reason why I started questioning certain beliefs that I grew up with. It's because I saw stuff on the internet talking about it and pointing out the contradictions. And it's possible that I would be such a different person right now, if not for being allowed on the internet. So, I don't think banning the internet to children, it's hard for me to agree with it completely, because I would not have liked it. I would regret it if that's the way it was for me. Because I think I benefited a lot from it, from having that freedom and growing and having access to information. Grew up with the internet, would not recommend. I wish I had my first phone more recently, or was at least taught internet safety. It's good that you mentioned internet safety, because I think that's the compromise here. I don't think we should actually be banning the internet to children. I don't think that's good. But as a parent, I don't think you should just go to your children and be like, you can't use the internet at all, you can't use social media at all. Just none of that, you don't have those freedoms. But I think you need to be very good with how you teach your child beforehand. So before you give them access to that stuff, you teach them what to look out for, what to be careful of, what to not be influenced by, what to avoid. And, you can At least when they're on the younger end of things. Like, monitor their behaviors and stuff. I wouldn't say do that all the way till 18. But when they're younger, monitor it, I guess. And then... yeah, I don't know. Even that I'm not so sure about, but like, anyway, it's like you need to you need to just like teach them. Like, I don't think I'm gonna have kids, but if I did, what I would do is I would make a little PowerPoint. And on the PowerPoint, it would just teach them about internet safety. I'd be like, oh, look out for this. Oh, don't believe everything you see. It would just go through this whole list of things. And if you teach them right, then they'll have the maturity that, you know, they'll be better equipped to handle the internet than even some, like, older people. Because you'll have taught them what to look out for, and you'll help them be more mature for it. Because there's a lot you can do with education. There's a lot you can do. We underestimate that sometimes. So I think that's what you should actually do. Just teach them beforehand, and, like, don't make it a small thing. Like, really teach them. Like, dedicate, like, a whole day to it if you have to. Like, or multiple days, you know, like a whole thing. Like, make it a whole class for them. A little home class. And then they can handle everything that comes their way, and they'll be wiser than their peers. But yeah, it's, like, difficult. Because even then, your children could still go astray and be influenced by the wrong things, but, you know, past a certain point, you do kind of lose control. And that's the part that sucks, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't have any freedom. It's a risk you have to take if you want them to develop properly. And, like, yeah, have a sense of freedom and autonomy in their day-to-day life. I'm hoping all that makes sense, because I don't know how much of this is, like, word salad. And my words aren't even, like... my words are limited. There's only so much I can say to summarize my thoughts. With what my parents did, my parents only allowed me to have certain social media like Facebook because they were also on Facebook, and that I also had to give them all my accounts and passwords, so that way they can keep an eye on me, but I wasn't allowed to block them or make a second account without their permission. And they did find one of my secret accounts, which ended with me having it get deleted, and they had to watch exactly what I was doing on the computer for a while, for a whole year. Meaning if I wanted to play Cartoon Network games, they also had to watch me play the game too. Yeah, so here's the thing. I wouldn't like that. I don't think that's good either. Like, for younger ages, sure. It actually depends on what age they stopped doing that. Because if they did that all the way till you were 18, then I don't agree with that. I think that's way too restrictive, because, like, you know, that sounds like you basically had no privacy online. And I think past a certain age, you should have some degree of that, as long as you've been taught properly, which is the emphasis. It's like, parents need to be better at teaching about it, about what to be careful of. But, like, just being watched all the time like that, like, I would have hated that. Like, I would hate that now as an adult, and I would have hated it when I was a kid. Or, like, teenager, should we say. It's like if you're... I think it makes sense if you're a younger kid. Yeah, like, not just having your passwords, not being able to do anything on your own, I don't think that's good. You know, I think some degree of autonomy on the internet, even as a minor, is important. But again, complicated, and there's risks. It's all complicated. We're talking about a lot of complicated topics today, guys. You know, at the end of the day, it's complicated. That's the answer to all of this. You know, that's the take. That's the takeaway. Anytime someone gives you a complicated issue, just say it's complicated. That's the solution. And then you sound like a wise person. That's what I do. I was in high school when the social media boom happened. You guys have no idea how much harm it did to me and all those around me. I'd have a much better life if it didn't change society. Yeah, I think the way that social media exists and the way that people aren't taught, you know, to, like, I don't know, to handle it properly, and the way that there's, like, a little bit too much freedom with it. All of these things, it's like, social media could be something good. It is something good sometimes, but it could be turned into a net good if it were different, slightly different. But in its current form, there's so much harm that comes from it. And I wouldn't delete it, I wouldn't get rid of it. But man, there's a lot of bad that does come from it. There's good that comes from it, and there's bad. And the good stuff can be really good, and the bad stuff can be really, really bad. Alright. The issue isn't the internet, it's that we don't have children's spaces. Adults share TikTok and stuff with kids instead of having Club Penguin or WTV. Yeah, that's a good point. There are no children's spaces online anymore. That should really, actually, yeah, that is a big problem, isn't it? We used to have things like Club Penguin, all these like little kids games and stuff. There's so little stuff like that now, right? I think stuff like that would be really beneficial. And instead it's just stuff like TikTok, where they now, you know, every kid ends up on TikTok, and it's the same app that all the adults use, and they have access to all the same material, including all of the inappropriate stuff. And it's completely... And that's what most kids end up seeing now, because there's no spaces specifically for kids. That's definitely something that would be good to change. That's mostly the fault of, like, people not making enough of those spaces or games anymore, you know? So that's not really the government. That maybe people should make more stuff like that. I feel like the amount of children's spaces on the internet has diminished vastly, yes. There's no boundaries of what age apps are for, yeah. They'd be hated for not being inclusive. I suppose, yeah. Grew up when the internet was newish, found some things way too young, but honestly allowed me to build my sense of self. Yeah, it's like... There's a lot of things that I... Hello, Peachy, welcome! Yes, you made it, good! You made it! Yeah, and hello, Pop-Tart Snake, welcome! You also made it. Yes. Good stuff. Oh, is the music done? Let's restart it. What was the reaction to my answer? We've not read yours yet. I'm having so many philosophical conversations this stream. I wish I made clips more, like, consistently, or, like, because there's good stuff I've said here that'd be useful. Wish my parents at least somewhat cared when I was online. Now I'm 19 with a Corpse Party tattoo and watching an anime boy talk about philosophy. You mean you regret this? Do you regret all this? You wish you turned out differently? See, that's the thing with me. It's like, there was a lot of things I saw as a kid, and experienced as a kid, and did as a kid that I wasn't supposed to. That wouldn't, you know, but I don't regret it. Like, I'm glad it happened. Like, I wasn't supposed to discover porn as a kid. You know? I wasn't supposed to do that. But I don't regret it. So it's kind of weird, because, like, I would not recommend... I would not want other people growing up with that. Or I wouldn't want, you know, other people... I don't... It's complicated, because, like... It's not like... I'm sure there's negatives to it, too, in my life that I just don't really notice as much. You know? But... Like, a lot of the stuff I wasn't supposed to discover, a lot of the stuff I wasn't supposed to do. I don't regret it. Like, I'm glad it happened. Because I was lucky enough to not be too harmed by it. And it's created who I am now, you know, the weirdo that I am now is because I discovered that stuff so young, you know? So, I don't know. Yet again, it's complicated. Once again, wow, I'm so smart. It's complicated, guys. It's complicated. That's my smart take. Anyway, I've missed so many freaking messages. Let's go. Let's speed. I haven't gotten through all my freaking Menhera Monday answers. Okay. Just watching you talking about philosophy is very relaxing and refreshing. I don't know why, but it's like living out the good place. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm actually talking philosophy today a lot, because I find it hard to tap into sometimes, but I guess it's easier today. I don't know if you've seen that show, but in it they bring up certain philosophical questions up in the show and present it in a way that's entertaining and educational at the same time. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'd like to sometime, maybe. I'm gonna skip a lot of these messages and just read anything that's interesting. I had 20 to 26-year-old quote-unquote friends at 9. They showed me too much for a cheap laugh. Bro, 9? You should not have friends that old at 9. Yeah. Did they... You said for a cheap laugh, so that doesn't sound like they, like, groomed you. It sounds more like they just did it because they thought it was funny. So that's good, at least. I discovered Yaoi because of Sailor Moon. I didn't register it as adult movies because in my head it's 2 boys and not a man and a woman. I mean, fair enough. It's like... It's not more inappropriate just because it's 2 boys as opposed to a boy and a girl, right? But then if it's showing stuff that's like actually designed to get you aroused, then that would be adult. Yeah, I love the philosophy stuff here. I'm not just Gunacore after all. Yeah, I like being able to talk philosophy. Alright. I'm gonna try to get... I need to go through these quicker, because I've dwelled on these so long. Each one. Alright. Oh, frick, what is this? Something that should be illegal. As someday it may happen that a victim must be found. I've got a little list. Of society offenders who might well be underground, and who never would be missed. There's the white kid with the baggy clothes, who's talking like he's black. The girl you date, who doesn't get the jokes in Caddyshack. The Asian guy who cuts in front of every single line. And Britney Spears, for accidentally showing her vagina. What? And Bill O'Reilly's ineffective dermatologist. And they'd none of them be missed. Is it? I don't know the tune of this song, if it's a song. He's got them on the list. And they'd none of them be missed. There's that guy behind the news reporter waving like a fool. And Senator Bill Frist, I've got him on the list. And the fat kid smiling warmly while he's peeing in the pool. He would never be missed, and never would be missed. There's the foul-smelling boy who comes to school in camouflage. There's every bleeding member of the cast of Entourage. And while we're on the subject, HBO deserves a whack for ending The Sopranos with a fucking cut to black. And guys who, when you shake their hand, just bump you with their fist. I don't think they'd be missed. I'm sure they'd not be missed. He's got them on the list. And they'd none of them be missed. There's the guy who sits beside you and keeps farting on the plane. And Shakira's lyricist. I've got him on the list. And the smarty on Thanksgiving who says it's tryptophan. He would never be missed. He never would be missed. There's the blonde who tells you loudly with a voice just like a knife. You know someone should do a sitcom based around my life. The guy who watched The Simpsons back in 1994 and won't admit the damn thing isn't funny anymore. And anyone and everyone who's ever Made me pissed. Made me pissed. Made me really, really pissed. I've got them on the list. They'd none of them be missed. They'd be none. They'd be none. They'd be none of them be missed. He's got them on the list. He's got them on the list. And they'd none of them be missed. They'd none of them be missed. None of them be missed. Written by Stewie Snake Cameo. Okay, so... Stewie, is this from fucking Family Guy? You mean to tell me something this, like, interesting sounding came from Family Guy? Really? Interesting. This is the rhymes, though. Yeah, it's a very good rhyme. I'm assuming you didn't write this yourself. Yeah. I'm assuming you didn't write it yourself. If you did, that's rather impressive. But I'm assuming this is from something. Yeah. The song from Family Guy. Ah, okay. That is it's pretty good lyrics, though. Depressing music, to be honest. Really, you find Animal Crossing depressing? Yoshi music, that is a good suggestion, though, actually. Yoshi music? Like Yoshi's, Epic Yarn. Yeah, oh, that does sound nice, huh? Joyful. Is that loud enough? Okay. Yeah, let me just... What is this, Dr. Seuss? Yeah, seems like it. What the fuck are these bars? Yeah, those are some bars. What the hell am I hearing? Crazy stuff. More funny in a hockey accent. I can't do the Cockney. Posted this very last minute, and so panicked and did Family Guy song. I see. So the Nazis, meanwhile the music. Yeah. Yeah, we were, for those of you who don't know, we were talking about Nazis earlier. Anyway, so, next one, we're just going to try to go through these more quickly now. Something that should be illegal. Eating roadkill. It's legal where I live, but not only did the animal in question get killed in a horrific way, but the fact is that there are so many factors that you have to think about before you proceed to eat roadkill. Like the diet and if it has certain diseases, yet people think, oh, free food, especially when it comes to deer. By Belle the Book Beast. Okay, so I agree I maybe agree in regards to, like, the chances of diseases. Can't you, like, cook that out, though? Like, if you cook it well enough? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can, like, if you cook meat well enough, you can just get rid of stuff like that, right? I'm not sure, actually. I don't know the logistics of this. But, I don't think the fact that the animal got killed in a horrific way is... I'm back. An assassin came into my room and tried to kill me. I got rid of him, it's fine. Anyway, as I was saying, here's the thing, right? Like, not if it has rabies? Okay, I guess that is a concern. Yeah, I guess that is a problem, huh? But aside from that, it's like, I don't think there's ethical issues with eating roadkill. If anything, it's more ethical than freaking regular animals, right? Because, like, it was gonna die anyway. You didn't have to kill it. You know, it's dead anyway. It's like, you know, I don't think there's anything immoral about eating roadkill. But I guess if it's, the diseases, I guess is a good reason not to. Because, yeah, you didn't... Because normally with meat, you have to kill the animal, you have to end its life. With this, it's like it died anyway, you didn't do it. It's like, you might as well make use of it, right? Makes sense. But a lot of religions actually forbid eating animals that died on their own. So, similar sentiments. Yeah. I don't think the law can be bothered if you're dumb enough to eat roadkill, then maybe it's good for you to get off the gene pool. I mean, you can make that argument about all sorts of laws that, like, prevent people doing harm to themselves. Yeah, I guess it makes, well, here's the thing, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't think you should punish someone for eating roadkill. Like, what, you're gonna put someone in a jail cell for it? Or, like, fine them? I don't know. Well, I mean, that would be a good way to stop people getting diseased, I guess. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't have an opinion. Alright. Why would you cook meat? It's so good raw. Tedia, freaking raw meat lover over here. Tedia loves raw meat in his mouth. Likes it raw. Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, I don't... It is... Yeah, it is interesting that you prefer, like, raw meat. Because a lot of people would find that, like, off-putting, but... It's like, But yeah, for those of you who don't know, you can eat, raw meat if you get it from the right source. But you have to be certain that there's no diseases. You kind of have to, like, really check it. I'm saying we should punish the people who eat it, but at the very least, don't let them eat... At least don't let them eat it, especially if it leads to a rabies outbreak in humans. Yeah, then, oh, it'd be like a real-life zombie apocalypse. That'd be kind of cool, though. That'd be kind of cool. I'd be a survivor. I would win. I'd win. I'd survive. I'd be, like, the main character. It'd be like High School of the Dead. I eat raw hot dogs. I love raw dogging. For real, raw dogging's great. Yeah. Basically rage against tobacco cigarettes. Oh, I guess that's something you wrote about, I'm assuming. You guys will never know how good almost raw horse meat tastes. Yo, Tedia likes to have a horse's meat in his mouth, holy crap. Bro. Who likes horses? Alright, anyway. Anyway. Yeah, alright, let's move along. Something that should be illegal. Something that should be illegal but isn't? Well, I'd say trash. But I feel like I've already said my piece on that. So I hope I don't bring down the mood too much with this, but I really think cigarettes should be illegal. Did you know that 80% of people staying in hospitals are there directly because of the consequences of smoking? Personally, in my own life, my mother is suffering a lot right now as a result of smoking cigarettes since her 20s. She can't walk anymore, she struggles to feed herself, she can't dress herself or even use her phone or TV remote because her confusion is so high. She can't find most of the words she wants when trying to speak, despite how quickly things started to get bad. She still refused to smoke less than a pack a day. She would fight with me about getting them for her. It felt like she was defending them as her best friend or something. Now she has no choice because she's in a facility, but she still asks for me for cigarettes when I see her. It's hard because a lot of my friends IRL are cigarette smokers as well, and I know I don't have the right to lecture people on how to live their lives, but I wish there was a way I could get the message across. It makes me sick to think about any of them having to deal with this later on in life. Well, don't forget to like the video. Written by Toybox. Yeah. I think this is an interesting... Here's the thing, right? This is actually very logical considering how our current legal system works. So, if we ban things like frickin' like drugs, hard drugs, we even ban stuff like marijuana, even though that's like less harmful. But if we're gonna ban substances that like harm people, there's no reasons why cigarettes shouldn't be under that too. Like, it would make sense, because cigarettes are actually, like, really harmful. And it is crazy, though, how they basically do just monetize an addiction. And they present it as, like, oh, this is something you do and enjoy, and it's part of your life, and it's like, but it's like, it's just an addiction. They're literally just selling addiction. And then if you get fooled into doing it, you're stuck with it. It doesn't really benefit you, it doesn't make your life better, it's just... you know? And that's really interesting how they can do that so easily. And that's just normal. It's normalized. It's just completely normal. No one views that as weird. It's like, oh, you know, let's go get a smoke. Or it's like, oh, I'm getting a smoke. It's like, it's viewed as this very normal thing. But what it is just people getting tricked into getting addicted to something, and then they keep buying it because they have to, not because it's nice, not because it adds anything, it's just because now they're hooked on it. And that is really weird. And making it illegal might help in some ways, and it would make sense considering we already ban harmful substances, and the only reason they haven't banned cigarettes is because they make too much money from it. I think the government sort of has incentive to not do it. That's the real reason why they haven't banned it. But, I wouldn't really want to make it illegal, because, again, my whole thing is that I don't think, people should be banned from doing things that harm. I think people should have the right to make bad decisions. However, I very much see your point here, and I think it would be really good if we took more measures to make them less available. I think you could outright just put a ban on selling them in any normal store. I think that would be legitimate. Just, like, don't sell them in normal stores at all. Like, it's still legal to have them, but maybe you, like, have to go out of your way for it. You kind of need to, like, order it online or something. Or go to, like, specific designated shops for it or something, you know? They shouldn't be as available. I feel like there's things we can do to regulate it, more we could be doing to regulate it, aside from making it absolutely 100% illegal. You know, but again, I haven't really thought of the logistics of all that. It's crazy how many people's lives have been ruined by something so simple. By something they don't even need. And it's ruined so many people's lives, it's killed so many people. And yet this shit's legal, it's completely available, and everything's, you know, it is kind of crazy in a way. Blame my parents are prepared to survive. Should we suffer from a war outbreak or anything natural or unnatural, I can hide off-grid and survive if need be. So many people in my family do smoke, and it got to a point where I thought everyone does that when they are old enough, like a driver's license. I mean, this is literally the counter-argument to the discussion we had before, so you see how morals changes depending on which side you find yourself in the moment. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm also just indecisive. I mean, that is the thing, isn't it? It's like, okay, I think that substances shouldn't be made illegal for people. However, if you are going to make them illegal, I think it makes sense to also ban cigarettes, because literally all of those things apply to that too. So, if you're going to ban cocaine for destroying people's lives, you should also ban cigarettes for destroying people's lives. But, this is the important part I need to emphasize. You should never criminalize taking substances. So you can make these things illegal to sell. It should not be illegal to do them. Or it should, oh sorry, or it should, or maybe it can be illegal to do them, but never, like, it's not criminalized. You don't become a criminal for doing it. Because what you're doing is, you're punishing people for harming themselves with more harm. It's like putting someone in a jail cell for for, like, cutting themselves. It's like, that just seems absurd. You are punishing the victim of the crime, and I think that's very inhumane. So, regardless, I don't think we should criminalize it, but it can still be illegal to sell it, and it can be illegal to obtain it in that, like, maybe you're put in some kind of rehab or something, but again, I think I'd prefer to go down the road of not making it illegal at all. But I changed my mind on these things a lot, so yeah. You should ban women for making me harm. No, bro, no. Oh, vaped once, I know, no, like, yeah. I very much understand how addictive that stuff is, because I did vape for a little while, but I stopped before it got really serious. But it was starting to show its signs of being serious already. So... it's like everything else I think can have a medicinal property, but I don't think cigarettes would be worth much to anyone else if it was difficult to get at. Things that make a high are different. Well, see, here's the thing. It's like... People who are currently addicted to cigarettes would maybe still need to be... well, I guess there's alternatives that they can do to, like, quit those addictions. Yeah. Because for people who are, like, still extremely addicted, it might be a bit much to just suddenly be like, okay, you can never do this again, now it's illegal. Yeah. I don't know. I've tried to give my takes several times this stream on, like, what I think in terms of, like, whether drugs should be legal or not and stuff, but I think I'm gonna flip-flop on that a lot, because it's just not entirely clear. I think in general people should have the right to do things that are harmful to themselves, but I also see, like, some of these things are really severe, and it makes such a big difference that, like, maybe banning it is just better, because then you just make society better and you save a lot of people. It's complicated. It's complicated! Whoa, whoa, that's so profound, guys. It's complicated. I pretended to smoke in order to be able to break the ice with people smoking outside pubs and restaurants. Without that, it would be even more difficult to socialize. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, people are tempted to do this stuff because of social benefits, and people get into smoking because their friends do it and things, and it's like, it's just, it's really bad. It's really bad. And also, in some places, smoking is the only way you get, like, a time off. It's, you know, smoke breaks. They only give breaks to people getting smoke breaks, and then otherwise you don't get the break. There's so many things that, like, persuade people to do it. Life isn't worth it either. No, come on, that's not true. Things will always get better. No matter how bad things are, they get better. Everyone can make it. Good smokers are cool, but would give anything to not have to deal with what I'm dealing with in terms of my mom. Yeah. I'm sorry you've got to go through all that. Cannot be easy. Yeah, anyway. I'm gonna move on to the next one to try and get through all of them. I'm actually gonna use the bathroom, guys, because I need to pee, but I'm gonna be back. Because, yeah. I'm gonna go back to the waiting screen, but don't leave. I will be back in like a minute. Alright, ready? I'll be back. I'm back. We're here. You should try face rigging your peenor while you piss so we can see which expressions your avatar would make. Real, yeah. That's a good idea, actually. I should do that. Yeah. Actually, guys, there's something I should do real quick. If I do this now, I'll be able to stream longer instead of cutting things short. So, what do I do? I'll keep you guys occupied. Everyone's gonna be gone if I leave too long. Let's see. Let's see. How many viewers we got? How many people am I losing? Alright. I'm gonna be gone for like... maybe... 2 minutes? Oh gosh. Okay, let's see. Can I put a timer on the screen so people at least know? Show my anime figs while you're gone. Would be cool, but I can't put you on the stream. Let me think about this. Alright. I'm gonna go downstairs and do some stuff real quick. And it'll take like maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I'll try not to take longer. I'll be fast, yeah. Alright. Good luck, guys. Good luck. Alright, yeah, we're gonna... Alright. I'm gonna... Yeah. You keep yourselves entertained, you can just chat and stuff. Yeah, anyway. And you can put on AVGN playlist while you're gone. I think I'll just be stealing content at that point, though. If I had more of my own content, I'd put that on. You know, I could... it's like, I could put on one of my ASMR videos, but I know some of you are not into that kind of thing. There's the Flash game video, but I think a lot of you have seen that already. You can go for that. Why not? Alright. So, today... I'll put that on. Yeah, okay, let's go to freaking... Yeah, the Flash game clips. Not allowed to leave exhibit stream. You are allowed to leave if you... I mean, I don't want to restrict people if you actually want to leave. Like, if you get bored, I don't want to force you to be here against your will. But I want to provide an incentive for people to stay. It's like, you don't have to. I don't want to guilt people into it. I think that's kind of mean. But I want an incentive for people to stay, so I'm going to put something that people can look at. Alright. Switching over. And so I can take my time a little bit more if I put on something in the meantime. Alright. Oh, and it's already streaming out. That's good. Okay. That's way too quiet. I think I put down the audio that too low. Yeah.
Flash games. So we're gonna revisit some of those, and not only that, we're also going to.
Is that loud enough?
I'm gonna decide
I don't know.
which ones I like the most. See if they're as good as I remember. There we go. There's ads.
Is that loud enough?
everywhere because I don't have an ad blocker on Firefox, and I'm streaming from Firefox because I don't want to use Chrome, because Chrome is all my personal stuff. I don't want to accidentally bring up any weird sites that I don't want you guys
Is it
to
loud
log
enough?
in
Should I
on.
turn it up?
Any weird, I don't know, just by accident.
Let me see. How much is it
I
compared to
know
my
what you-
voice?
Yeah, so S tier right here, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
It is the best of the best, cream of the
I'm just gonna
crop.
assume that sounds fine.
Peak Flash gaming means it was something truly to be celebrated, something that's.
I'm gonna assume that sounds fine. Alright.
And then A tier is like.
See you in a bit, guys.
But like, not amazing, not S, but like pretty damn good. B is like, it's okay, it's acceptable, and nothing more. C is like, not so great. D is like, ugh. D is like, D is like, get out of here, get out of my face, you filthy cretin. Let's try out this. And I'm sure you remember that this game is very, very gory. It's got a lot of people dying in horrible ways, like that guy. Pretty sure everyone just liked it because it was really edgy, and everyone likes to be cool by looking at blood and shit. World War II, Part 1. What? Why is there someone screaming? Oh, right, yeah, because it's war, I forgot. Stupid question. Yeah, this one... Oh, crap. Yeah, I wouldn't have, been traumatized by this. Whenever I was still in elementary school, I started watching all the, like, really, like, gory, edgy anime. Like, my first ever anime was Death Note, and that wasn't gory, obviously, but I watched that back whenever I was in elementary school, and I loved it, and then I got into anime, that's how I got into it. And then I watched Dead Man Wonderland, which is also very gory. No. Yeah, so pro tip, an old tree ever asks you to crawl inside of him, firstly, that's not a tree, that's probably a predator, and secondly, you're probably high. What if the tree is female, then click I mean, you can go inside either way, you know? There's a hole, there's a goal. Never let something as arbitrary as gender stop you from achieving what needs to be achieved. Because at the end of the day, hopes and dreams should not be crushed by, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, so, we've got enough of an impression of that little game. Where will I put this? Maybe a B? It would have to be, yeah, because it couldn't be higher than a B. Because, like, it's cool and stuff, but, like, it's more of, like, a novelty thing. It's kind of cool to look at. You got some, like, it's funny, edgy, I don't know. But, like, are you really gonna, like, keep coming back to it? Are you gonna stay addicted? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know how, like, PewDiePie and, like, Tobuscus and all those guys managed to, play for, like, 300 episodes or whatever. Fuck. 300, like, videos of, like, just Happy Wheels. How did they... They milked that crap. They really did. I want to see if... Oh. I'm free. I'm killing you first. It said drill. Okay, let's try drill. Alright, crowbar. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. It's quick time events. Oh. Pressed the wrong one. Alright. Oh, no, picked the wrong one. Oh, wait. Right one, I guess? Oh, okay. Got him! Yes! Damn cool. Yeah, that's right. And we made it. Stealing the diamond. Let's go. open. I hereby declare the exhibition... exhibition, that's me. I'm Exhibit A. Exhibition A. That's my name. Yeah. You know, I remember at one point people were suggesting ideas for, like, what I should call my fans. And I forget if it was me who suggested it or if it was someone else, but someone, whether it was me or someone else, someone said should call them the exhibitionists. Which, funny, I guess. I'm gonna bust in. I'm gonna should I? We're gonna... Come on, guys, we're about to bust. Oh, right, yeah, it's branch isn't the right answer. Throw a rock.
Upside down, repeat, upside down. Sir, place your hands where I can see them.
Oh. Are we fine? We made it! Yes! Awesome!
Oh,
Plane. Okay.
I gotta warn some.
Hehe. Grand Exhibit? Holy shit, it's an Exhibit A reference. Holy fuck. Super Mushroom.
Sir? You might want to come look at this. I'm getting chaos readings at 10.6. It's coming from the museum.
Chaos readings.
God, it's over 9.
It's over 9. Oh, remember when this was like a funny meme and everyone laughed? Yeah, firing my laser or whatever. That was so funny. Oh, okay, that's the right option. Literally the last one I chose. Alright, we ran. There it is. The diamond. We did it! We won the epic way! I think I put it on the same level as Happy Wheels, but like, there. Because it is entertaining, but the thing that I don't like is that the choices feel kind of... It's like random, right? So I feel like a truly good choose-your-own-adventure game is one where you can use some degree of skill to like decide what choice is the best. So if I were making a choose-your-own-adventure, what I'd do is I'd give like little hints, little clues as to what the right decisions are, and it's up for people to like pick up on like what the best choices are. Now, obviously, Henry Stickmin, it's like a very goofy game. It's not really supposed to be that serious, but still, it's like, it's not much of a game if you're just choosing random things. Yeah, if you're just choosing random things and like hoping it works. You get what I mean? You get what I mean. Ooh, just on my way to work. Just another day in the life of Roy. Roy the boy. He ain't no toy. He likes to eat pak choi. Hello, first customer. Welcome to this fine establishment. 4 pepperonis, bro. That's crazy. I guess that kinda... I mean, if there were bigger pepperonis, then yeah, but like... Does anyone order 4 pepperonis? Just look, that peach is so sparse. And we got to cut. Yes. Finish order. And he likes it. Good. You better. Make pizza. 6 of these. Are these olives? I think they are. 3, 4, 5, 6. We're doing this evenly because... Well, I don't know how to... Damn it. Okay, well that looks about right. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait, there's another dude. Let's get him. He wants 8 fishes. And he wants... amount of time. And he wants a cut. I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're gonna... No! Bro, come on. kidding me, bro? Whatever, that'll do. How much was... No. How much was... Yeah, okay, we still got time. Let's go, let's go. We gotta micromanage. We gotta, like, be all... I gotta multitask. I can't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I have time to be a perfectionist here? I don't think I do. And this one's still not done. Yeah, okay, cool. Wait. Oh, fuck, I overcooked this one. No! Okay, we can do that, and then, wait, and then, what was, I'm losing track of things. What's going on? Oh, fuck, this one is too over, oh, man. Okay. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm so lost. He would have been fine. He is not happy. No. Yeah, I'd so get fired if I got a job in, this, kind of establishment. Okay. Well, I'm gonna move on to the next game. So, we are gonna put that, I'm gonna put that in A, because that was, I enjoyed that more than the other two games. It was more engaging, there's like actual gameplay. Alright, hello. Frick, what fell? Whatever. Alright, I took a little bit longer than planned because I also made some toast because I had the video up, so I'm a little less, worried about just leaving you guys alone. Alright. Alrighty. Alright, yeah, so... Sec. Alright, so... How you guys doing? I don't know if this heating is too loud. TDO, what are you talking about? Is that chewing sounds? Are you imitating me? Alright. View count's going back up again. People noticing I'm back. Alright, we're gonna move back to the just chatting room. Alright. I'm gonna read the next one. Something that should be illegal. Exhibit outing Zana that she is cock. How dare you expose me as Fuda? I am cat girl, not a Fuda. Exhibit must be paid for his crimes from doing this act of illegalness. Written by Zana. Yeah, too bad. Everyone knows about your cock now. Too bad. Too bad. How do you feel, Zana? Your cock has been exposed to the whole world because of me. Alright, next one. Something that should be illegal. Shirts in public blocks the view. Sure.
Right, so no one should be allowed to wear shirts. Fair enough. I mean, I get the argument. Exhibit eating ASMR? Yeah. Thought it was peachy. Yeah, that makes sense. She does have a cock. It's a very nice looking one. Tastes good too. Anyway, um, yeah, I think banning shirts would be kind of cool. A lot of boobs, a lot of abs. Everyone needs to have a bit more fun, you know. Pretty good. No one wrote their name on this one though. Something that should be illegal. Kicking out your child for having a Bernice white body pillow, room, and shrine. There was no name here. Oh, it's guys, there's no name here. It's an unknown person who wrote this. Ha 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 ha. I've made that joke again. It's so funny. I got handcuffs with me written with your name on it. Oh, Sana. Sana. Getting all freaky in front of everyone else? What the hell? Sana. So say the word and I can make you a bottom. Some shorts, jeans, whatever suits you. Oh, okay. I thought that was gonna go somewhere else at first. I can make you a bottom. I could make you a bottom sometime if you want. What can I say? I'm just very fond of making clothes. Uh-huh. Aren't I so charming when I'm eating? Wow. No autocorrect, my bad. Did you mean to say something else? Watch out, Moxie might be watching. I see. Alright, my toast is done. Next one. Something that should be illegal. That collarbone, written by Twitch TOS. Damn, my collarbone too spicy for you? Goodness. I will cuff you for your crimes of outing me. Is that why you're wanting to cuff me, Zana? Is it? Is that really? I feel like you've got... I feel like you maybe have some ulterior motives with cuffing me. You want me to be your prisoner, is that it? Make me a bottom, please. No problem. I'll make you a bottom. It would be my pleasure. Alright, where's the... Yeah, I'm gonna have to get started on the clothes making, yeah. Yep. Something that should be illegal. Outdoor dogs slash cats. Written by the Weebus Weenus himself. Interesting take. Because obviously, if they're out and about, it's dangerous, right? But, like, aren't cats happier whenever they get to explore? Like, if you just keep them in your house, I feel like that's a bit restrictive for them, right? It's not as nice. You know, they should get to explore and enjoy themselves, right? But, with dogs don't really need that as much. They don't do, you know, they're not as
they're not as likely to come home properly if you let them out? Or did you mean like even letting them out in the yard? I'm assuming you mean like letting them like roam around, because obviously you should let them out into the air every now and then, surely. Don't test me. Something that should be illegal. Rule 34, written by Exhibit C. What? Who would want Rule 34 to be illegal? That's so mean. Man, that's crazy. Meant to put bottoms in terms of pants. Yeah, I figured. But, I still said what I said. Where's the next one? Something that should be illegal. The American flag. Written by a patriotic female. What do you mean the American flag be illegal? You mean you can't show it or can't wave it? I don't know what this means. Or just that America just should not exist? Like what's, I don't know. Exhibit outdoor cats on average only live 8 to 10 years. Indoor cats live 17 to 20. It's dangerous between traffic and predators and cruel humans. In the town above mine, this kid was catching and killing cats. Oh, jeez. That does seem like a really big difference in the life expectancy, so maybe that is actually worth... Maybe it is worth keeping them inside. I'd just be curious, though, is it, like, healthy for them, to stay inside? Because if so, that's fine. Alright, but yeah, that would be an interesting... That makes it an interesting suggestion for things that should be illegal, then. Something that should be illegal, and it's a freaking video link. I don't think I should be following random links. It could be a freaking virus. Or it could be something that is illegal. Because the link is like, it has videos in the link, so it's a video. Bro. What do I do? What do I do? Is there a safe way to open the link? Bro. Is there a safe way to open links? Oh, you can use, there's websites you can use to see a screenshot of a web page before going onto it, so that's what I'm going to try to do. So, okay. Let's find out what's going on here, guys. Let's find out. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Alright. Let's see. Oh, I need to do the catch, but properly. What? It's not working.
Let's try this one, Screenshot Guru. Let's see, let's see. Bro, I'm kind of scared. Screenshot is ready? There is no screenshot here. Didn't work? Bro. There might be a freaking virus in that. I don't think I can open it. Man, I'm curious though. I'm like curious. I've handcuffed you in DMs as your punishment. Let that be a lesson to anyone who ever tries to out me for something. I will cuff you too. Damn. Yo, Zana's cuffed me, guys. What the hell? What the hell? Oh man, she did cuff me in DMs. Bro. Careful there, Zana. It's feeling kind of tight. Alright, where's... Man, I really wish I could open... I wish I could open this frickin' link, but it's not. I don't know. I wish there was a safe way to do it. Let me just try it again. One more time. One more time. Maybe I have to save that image. Nope, there's nothing there. Alright, yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work. Yeah, as long as you don't open an exe, you should be fine. You think? Okay. I mean... Bro, this better not be something that gets me fucking arrested or something, bro. What is this? What is this? Alright. Just to be safe, we're opening it in incognito mode, okay? Oh, this looks fine, I think. Oh, it's a frickin' No! No! That must have been so loud. I'll make it tighter if you complain. No! Don't make it tighter, Zana. I can't handle it. Bro, guys, you guys heard that, didn't you? You guys freaking heard the rickroll. Oh, no. No! All that build up for that. Oh, man. Man, this is crazy. Man, I was spooked there. I was like, bro, what is this? Especially all the time it took opening the link. Yeah, damn. Alright, well. Damn, you guys are cuffing each other now. We started a chain. Like chains and handcuffs. Like chain, yo, whoa, yeah, yeah. Alright, well. I have now gone through all of the answers. That is all of them. We're all finished. So yeah. You know, it should be illegal? Banks. You think so? I guess banks... I don't know. I don't know the logistics of banks. Alright. Well. I guess that's everything. Thank you all for watching. For being here. Excited to see you get creative then. Damn, okay. Bro. What were the last few ones? Did you miss some of them? No, I will clarify. There were a few that I skipped. That's happened sometimes. Like I sometimes skip answers on some weeks just if I think that they're too political or too controversial or just not the kind of topic I want to cover on stream. So if I've left anything out, that'd be why. But last few were this random ass link that turned out to be a Rickroll. The American flag should be illegal apparently. Don't know what that would mean though. Rule 34. I don't know who would want to ban Rule 34. Outdoor dogs and cats. Oh yeah, that was your one. Maybe you weren't here when I read that. But yeah, that collarbone by Twitch TOS. Kicking your child out for having a Bernie's white body pillow room and shrine. Shirts in public blocks the view. Exhibit outing Zana that she is cock. Yeah, and she handcuffed me for that. Alright, anyway, those are the last ones. But yeah, I hope all of you enjoyed this Menhera Monday. I enjoyed it. It was very fun, and I liked getting to talk about many, deep topics. It was very cool. I'll cuff you exhibit if you behave for a week. Ah, god damn it. Okay. Well, thank you all for stopping by. And without further ado, I will see you in the next stream. Bye-bye.